Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
The afternoon drive.
We knew they had a chance to lose and lose big. I'm going to go ahead and say none of us expected 41-17.
Well, I mean, I think we were cautioning people all week long that was more than an opportunity to have that type of game happen.
24-point loss?
The Ravens are one of the best teams in the NFL. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, there's a lot going for Baltimore that if you wanted to make some sort of case that Baltimore is the creme de la creme of the league and you just have to take on one of the best teams in the NFL, then yeah, like that's an okay case to make.
The afternoon drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Action in the Tiger pen for the first time tonight. Bo rips one to deep right field. That'll get down. It's into the corner. It's off the wall. And in the score is Jose Ramirez. Down to third is Manzardo. Bo Naylor continues his hot spill with an RBI double and makes it a 3-1 Guardians lead. But man, he gets to it more times than not. Deep center field. And we're tied. 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth.
He was the right man in the right spot for him. And he got a pitch, and he drove it deep to the big part of the ballpark.
That's a fair ball. Down the right field line. That'll get a run home. Rocchio will score. Juan on his way to second. He'll have to stop there. Line drive left center field. That's going to get down. That's in the alley. Juan will score. Angel's around second, on his way to third. Here's the relay throw. He's in there safely with an RBI triple. And the Guardians lead by 2. Jose shoots one down the left field line. Fair ball! That's into the corner. Scoring is Angel Martinez. And Jose Ramirez continues the Guardians' onslaught. They've plated 3 in the 10th. Look towards center. Here's Angel Martinez. Book it. The Guardians come to Detroit and take the series opener. They're not done yet. They had to work extra hard, but in 10 innings, they win it by a final score of 7-5.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Audio courtesy of Guardians TV. Can they catch the Tigers or is it a pipe dream? 216-474-0092. React to us.
My kind of baseball last night. Normally anything north of 3 hours I'm out on these days.
If you want to talk on the radio, go right on ahead. 216-474-0092. Can they catch the Tigers or it is a pipe dream? Should we be focused on the AL wild card? Yes, Tone, you said what now?
That game was jam-packed full of entertainment. I know it's tough to compare to like football. I thought that, I'll be brutally honest, I thought the first 2 Browns games have been snooze fest. This had action.
Well, you were proven wrong.
This had entertainment.
You were proven wrong in the first game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The entertainment quotient said it was the 3rd most entertaining game.
Oh, that's right.
You just don't know ball. I mean, that's all there is to it.
I know. Either way, yesterday was awesome. It was an awesome way, especially when your closer comes in and blows it. How often, like the psyche of a fan base, when a closer comes in and gives up a bomb. And you're like, well, we don't really have a closer. So you're deflated. And then you come through in the 10th with, the tricked up 10th inning that we have in baseball these days. And I was like, all right, we're back in it.
Can I admit something here? When he blew the save, I go, well, fate is just going to have it for us. This sucks.
Did you think the season was over?
Yeah, I did.
You're not alone.
My initial reaction was, this is ridiculous.
I always feel like we're going to get a run. I didn't think we'd get 4 runs. And 1 run doesn't mean anything anymore in extra innings because the other team's just going to get a run too.
Yeah. I was upset. I couldn't. I was like, man. I was like, there's some guys, they're made to be closers, and I'm like, this kid ain't it. He just ain't it. I don't know what we're going to do in 2026. But he gave up that, and I go, man, this is just bad. And then they came back in the 10th, and they did what they did in the 10th.
But hold on. I was nervous that they were just going to go and win the game, the next batter, because it was somebody who has done some damage against
obviously.
Our baseball team in the playoffs, too. And I was like, that's it. That's why I thought, holy cow, the season is going to go from we're gonna take a whole game from Detroit. We're going to potentially make up space in the wild card. When Cade Smith gave up that home run, I said, well, we're going to lose the next batter. We're going to lose the game. Like, that's how down in the dumps I was.
What? I mean, I was like, well, it's not over, obviously, but I figured it was going to go to extra innings, and I just figured, like, at that moment, like, your mind works very, very quickly. So it's like, okay, you got a commercial break to kind of get ready for the 10th inning. You're like, all right, let's put that behind us. But it's like, man, Kerry Carpenter's a killer, and he hits that home run, and I felt bad later on for Cade Smith, but at the time, I'm just like, my God, is it Canada? What is it? I don't know. But it was like, all right, fine. I guess fate is just going to have it out for us, and now I got to deal with sad bastard stuff for the rest of the winter. And ended up working out for us in the top of the 10th. I'm fine, feeling good, feeling right. And I think a lot of people are feeling like, all right, well, maybe we can take a swing at him here in the AL Central. Plus, I mean, the playoff atmosphere and everything like that. I mean, it's I want to give credit to Stephen Vogt.
Well, playoff atmosphere there.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll have playoff atmosphere here down the stretch. Will we?
What are you trying to say?
Well, you have Tigers and Rangers, the last two teams coming in for the last week of baseball. I think you'll have playoffs.
You think we will?
Yeah.
I've been a little nervous because obviously the attendance has plummeted.
Well,
once.
I try to not toot the horn here, but since July, I've been telling you that this schedule sets up for this absolute run that they're on right now. And the schedule sets up for the run that they're on right now. And it ends with the Rangers, who are a team that you're a half game ahead of now, but they're still in it as well. They're playing the Astros as well. I mean, all of this stuff is lining up. I think the people will be out. It's a week of baseball, right? I've already looked at, I'm coaching a football team, and I'm looking at how do we manipulate the practices so that I can do both of these things.
Do adjustments need to be made to the schedules down the stretch?
And they could totally blow this week, and then next week doesn't matter. But it's the schedule's setting there for you. It's lined up.
12 games left?
Well, he's managing it like it's the playoffs. He's moved people up, which is what you have to do.
Owen?
Vogt. Stephen Vogt.
No.
Vogt.
Stephen Vogt. Yeah, that's right. Because Owen's not coaching football like it's the playoffs, and not the playoffs just yet.
Oh, but every game's do or die for us.
Yes, but you have to. Stephen Vogt has to do what he does. Can I give Stephen Vogt some real credit before you go off?
Yeah, sure.
We killed him last week for Tim Herron. All right. Tim Herron comes in yesterday, strikes out the side. You stick with your guy. You stick with your guns. We got to give credit where it's due here. I just can't ignore it. If he goes out, like we were upset with Tim Herron, the whole thing, like we needed, like I think a lot of people were, if you got nicotine on you or you got a vape on you, you were doing what you had to do. As he came out, it's a very high tense moment, tense situation. Strikes out the side. Credit where it's due. Credit where it's due. You got to do what you got to do, and he was able to do it. So, and especially because he comes out there with a guy on, you got to give it credit where it's due for Stephen Vogt. If we're going to hammer him last week, I got to give him credit this week. That's only fair.
Good.
I'm just trying to be fair to the guy. Vote win. I give it a vote win. I think every win's probably a vote win for crying out loud, but we only like to do the vote losses. So I had it in my head. I texted you guys last night. I didn't want to say, like, well, if they win, because I didn't want to, like, jinx it or anything, because I know how you guys are. So I got to be careful with how I word things in text messages and such. I mean, I know how you guys like to do me up there. So I just wanted to give him credit. So there you go. All right, go off on what you were going to say.
I think it's awesome, the fact that this team is 8 games above 500, and I know people like me absolutely buried them on, I think, multiple occasions this year. Well, and we were down in the dumps on the team, and when we had those suspensions, that pretty much seemed like wave the white flag. There's no way. And I have to say, as disappointed as everybody in this city was about payroll and what they didn't do over the offseason, it's 100%. There's nobody who was okay with it. Some were louder than others. I'll give them that. What they have been able to do to get to this point where they are now officially in the hunt, they're in striking distance. They are, 8 games above 500. This team with that roster and all that they have had to face this year, and I can only imagine what the players and Vogt are thinking about that, considering if any of them, listen to Sports Talk Radio, went on social media, this entire region buried the team, and a lot of it, rightfully so. You got to earn it. You got to earn respect. I now have to say that if this team makes the playoffs, it is absolutely an accomplishment.
This is a tight spot. Well, I think obviously you're not going to like what I have to say at 6:40. I don't want to give it away. Obviously, if they make the postseason, I think it's an accomplishment. I thought it was. I think there's things you could have taken away from the season if they were not to make the postseason. I don't know if anybody got a twisted or anything over the weekend or whatever. My whole sentiment has been like the owner's the owner. I can't do anything about the owner. I think he's responsible, but I'm not rooting for responsibility. So I have to look at what the constraints they have and them trying to do the best with the constraints they have. And I think that there has been a couple of mistakes here and there, but I don't think it's been mismanaged. And I think that there's a clear difference there. There's guys who have come back and they've bit us in the ass. And we've talked about those guys, the guy down in Tampa, a couple other situations. Like, that sucks. But I also think that there's mistakes and then there's just blatant mismanagement. I don't think it's been blatantly mismanaged. I think they've done what they could. And I want to separate ownership from front office, manager, guys on the team. And I think that there's a clear delineation there. And so I don't know what the future holds for him, because I think a lot of people thought that they were going to pay for it at the box office next year. I don't know. I know some people came earlier in the year. I know that the attendance was sparse. The last homestand, not a lot of people wanted to talk about it. We've heard a million excuses. We give a million excuses. I didn't go to the games. I watched them on TV. So, I'm not going to sit there and call anybody out for it.
Well, it's obvious this year why the minute football season started, why attendance plummeted.
But I didn't know if it was going to, because
you had all season to try to build up to something, and people thought season was over.
Well, if I go to 4 or 5 games this year, like Owen goes to a bunch, so he has a better sampling. But I'm seeing a lot of, when I go to the games, a lot of them are weekend games, I'm seeing a lot of 20-something-year-olds who are using it as a giant bar. But we got all winter to talk about that. So I think when you think big picture and taking it out on them, what was really going to hit. And my whole issue was, guys, I can't sit there and wish the worst and say how bad they are and how at times they've played terribly. I don't wish the worst on them because I didn't think they were going to win it. They were going to learn any lessons. Like, the Dolans aren't going to learn any lessons. They're going to look at their history and go, well, we made the postseason this many times. We've only missed the postseason that many times. Our way still works. So then I have to look at it and go, okay, how can I put the best foot forward? I think you can rip them no matter what. My issue with the postseason is that it ain't going our way during the 10-game losing streak, but can we figure this out with the starting rotation? Can we find some guys in the lineup that we like who aren't in AAA right now? Like, that's what I was thinking back in July. Here we are in September, and I think that I'm more interested in just making the postseason and moving on. Any way you want to do it. Yes, I think that winning the division is possible. It's hard not to when you have 5 more games against Detroit. And I think that it's weird because I'm like, well, I want to focus on what's first. What's first is the wild card, but it's like, well, you can do 2 things at once. If you play 5 games against the Detroit Tigers, your destiny is in your own hands. So really, you can do 2 things at once here. If you win the division, that'd be a hell of a comeback. And I tell you what, I know things can change very, very quickly in the postseason, but my God in heaven, that would be... I'd have to go back and look. Remember the Mets had a collapse with Willie Randolph as their manager years ago? Like, that's a collapse. How high up were they? They were a dozen, weren't they, at one point?
It was more than that. So we lost to them, remember, extra innings game over 4th of July weekend on Sunday.
Uh-huh.
Went down 15.5. It was our 10th straight loss. We went down 15.5 games.
Now, were we in second or third? We were still in second?
I think we dropped down to 4th at that point.
Because it got to a point where I didn't even look. I just looked at the wild card. I didn't bother looking at the LC. I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't bother looking at central standings for up until maybe a week ago when Owen brought it up to me. That's it. I just looked at the wild card, and I paid attention to the Blue Jays, the Astros, Texas, Boston. Those. I really haven't paid attention to the Yankees up at the top, but those were the ones I was paying attention to. The Tampa Bay as well. I didn't see anything, didn't bother to look at the Central Division. That would be a monumental collapse if they were to fall off like that.
It's a flip from last year. Last year, the Guardians jumped out big, right? And the Tigers rallied back.
Yeah.
And the Guardians still won the Central, but the Tigers were the ones that were hot going into the postseason.
Yes.
It's almost a flip of that.
216-474-0092. You think they can catch the Tigers? I mean, why wouldn't you think they can catch the Tigers? If you got 5 games left.
Well, the odds are very much stacked against them.
Odds are, but
they need to play perfect baseball.
They can only lose one to the Tigers to even have a chance.
Yeah, I'd say the odds are stacked against them. I think now, though,
tight spot.
The wild card is what I'm looking at. But, man, if they win a few more here, they make things very, very interesting.
2-1.
That's why the way Vogt is managing the way he's managing right now. They can't lose more than one.
No. So you have Gavin Williams going tonight, and then tomorrow you have Tanner Bybee going against Tarek Skubal, which, again, I used to be able to say his name right, and then Mitch mentions it on about last night, and messes it up, and then I can't say the guy's name right ever again. It's the same thing with Joey Cantillo. 216-474-0092. 2-second trivia coming up at 7:45 this morning. Your chance to win some free Mr. Hero. That's a lot of Robin burgers. Also, we'll go around the AFC North. Jeremy Fowler going to join us at 9. Also, Lima's still standing, so I assume she washed her hands. It used to mean something much different years ago. It takes a turn coming up in 5 minutes on The Fan.
Anthony Lima, floors with
10% off retail. That's why I love them. And now more opportunity for you at 4856 Richmond Road. They've expanded their store. Go check it out. Choice Cabinets, choicecabinet.com.
In your weeknight with the best segments of the day. The Fan Rewind. Weeknights at 11.
Two-second trivia, 7:45. Tone had a Seinfeldian situation yesterday before we set sail with some other things. Also, 6:45, want to get back into the Guardians about this season, by the way. Okay? Especially people going into work. They won a big game last night. Want to get back into the Guardians coming up at 6:45. However, you tell everybody what happened to you yesterday.
Was in a sandwich shop. Post-workout, got to get that protein, Kenny. Just got to get to it. There's just no other way around it.
Is it processed, though?
This is not the best protein.
You just dumped out your entire workout. Congratulations, you wasted your time.
So,
obviously, I know about such matters.
That's why I go back to the old 10-pound bag of protein. Remember those days where you're doing it with the creatine? Oh, man, back in the day.
Just all IcoPro at my house.
The funny thing is I talk about that, and I was never big. It's not like I ever was that big. What a waste of money and waste of time.
Did you ever get offered to buy steroids?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Back in the day?
Yeah.
So it happened to me. If I had a nickel for every time I was offered to buy steroids, I'd have about $1.98.
But I was the
95.
guy that needed them.
Obviously.
You didn't need them.
Oh, no, but you were big, and they were like, well, no. Once you're big, and at one point, I know people are watching on YouTube Live, and they're going to go, Kenny, no, Lima's seen the pictures. There was a day. There was a time. And once you're already big, people are like, he wants to be even bigger. And you will get like, hey, meet me in the bathroom. Why do you want me to meet you in the bathroom?
Yeah.
I got something that's going to take you to the next level. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, I'm in certain rec centers. And I'm going, nah, I'm good. Because it starts with, hey, can I swear to God.
Payless shoes.
It would
meet
start
in the
with,
bathroom.
I'm not going to say which rec centers I was in, but it's basically every rec center I've ever been in. And it would start with, hey, can I get a spot? And it would be like with a bodybuilder. And then all of a sudden, what's your bench? You max it out? Like the questions would start, and then it's like, I know a guy, and then it would just go from there. I'm like, oh God, we're into a sales pitch here.
It's how the dealers could infiltrate.
Yes.
Anyway, so I was at a sandwich place, and as I'm waiting in line, there were two people making the sandwiches, and then I hear the click of the bathroom that was right in front of me, and out comes, as two people are making huge orders in front of me, and so I got to wait a little bit. I see someone come out, and they are the third member of the sandwich artist team. And I looked at them and I go, yep, that's exactly who's going to be making my sandwich. And my mind works a lot like Ken's mind. We go to dark places very quickly. Yep. And now I am imagining exactly what was going on behind the scenes, behind the closed door. And now that is ingrained in my mind and I can't escape it.
Well, man's most disgusting act.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or woman's most disgusting act.
Yes,
Human's most disgusting act.
In this case, it was a woman, and I know we like to think women don't do the things that we do.
No, I don't like to.
But they are exactly doing the exact same things that we are doing.
So do you know this person? You've been here a lot?
I've seen her before.
Okay,
yeah.
So you've been here a lot.
Yes.
Does she know you like by face?
Yeah, she's seen me there.
Have you been there enough where you could, so what were you thinking? Were you wondering whether or not you could leave after something like that? Or did you assume she didn't wash her hands?
No, I assumed she did because when she was walking out, she did put the gloves back on. Uh-huh. And kind of, how when you're done washing your hands, whatever, you're done drying them, you feel like you always got to shake a little bit or make sure you throw them on your hands. But she put the gloves on. So either way, I know she's going to have the gloves on. It's no big deal. But my mind cannot escape the depths of which she was getting after it in there to make sure that she was all clean.
If you're really that uncomfortable, then you could have just walked out the door.
So I did think about that, obviously. And I just thought, I'm already in here. I've invested time. I've waited. I need to get home. I'm on the schedule. Got to go pick up the kids in short time. So I don't really have a lot of time to dilly-dally. So I was committed. And the whole time, I'm just thinking, this is awkward. Because she saw me, too. I mean, we definitely know.
Eyes?
She knew what I was thinking. And I thought, if I make a run for it now it's like, can I ever go back?
Did she wear gloves?
The trust is eroded.
Did she put on the gloves?
Yeah, she had gloves.
Well, if she put on the gloves, then don't worry about it.
Right.
Right?
But again, it's just the thought of it. And it's just the thought I could not escape. And I'm thinking of every which way that I go to town when I am in the bathroom. And I wouldn't want anybody getting something from me right afterwards.
Well, okay, so what type of Sammy was it?
An Italian.
Okay, so you had
toasted, of course.
I imagine you got you're dainty, so I imagine you got a 6-inch.
I got the 6 and the chips.
Yeah, of course he did.
And we had some fruit at home waiting for me.
So you get the 6-inch and the fruit at home waiting for you. Did you eat it like you were going to normally eat it, or did you eat it like you were defusing a bomb and you were nervous of...
I tried not to think about it, which meant that's all I did was think about it.
So had you placed the order before?
No.
Why not just leave?
He could have just left.
Because I guess the assumption is they're all going to the bathroom at some point.
He didn't want
and they're
her to
all
think-
wiping
So
at some
either
point.
you have a problem or you don't have a problem, and if you have a problem, just leave.
He didn't want this. He didn't want the woman to think that he was leaving because she was using the bathroom. He
This
didn't
is
want
a
her
place
to feel
you
bad.
frequent.
And because
Yes.
I didn't believe in her sanitization efforts.
But if you don't believe in her, then you must not believe in her at any time. So what's the point of going into any restaurant whatsoever?
And that's kind of the logic I was using.
That's what plays
I'm
into
like,
it,
this
yes.
is silly. We're all going to.
There's logic involved in it.
Well, we're all going to the bathroom at all times, and in fact, I know where my hands have been. Not just me now with the kids. I've still got one that's on diaper train, and there's not a day that goes by that there's not smearing of some sort that is happening. And then I go out into the public. I got to shake hands with people. Do they know where my hands have been? Are they assuming the worst? They know I have a young kid.
Our buddy Craig just wrote something decrepit in the chat that I can't read. You need to go to YouTube Live to read it. That's all I'm going to say. 2-second trivia coming up at 7:45. So was the sandwich at least good?
Oh, it was amazing.
Now,
it was amazing.
Food poisoning would have set in by now, hadn't it? I mean, this was yesterday afternoon, correct?
Yeah.
So that would have been about 3:00 this morning.
Is that when it hits? That's a delay?
That's what I would have thought. So you should be in the clear.
But would anybody really? It's one thing to talk about leaving. Would anybody really leave? Are they giving up their spot in line? Are they leaving? And now it adds to the lunch. You only have so much time at lunch.
They make sandwiches in so many locations.
Yes. There's a sandwich shop on every corner.
There's not another one in that plaza. I would have to drive away. This would have added 20 minutes to the experience.
Who
has another 20 minutes at lunch?
I've never...
At 3:00 in the morning when you're dead in the bathroom.
I'm going to wish I would have taken that 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I feel the same way you do. So I probably would, even if I had the reservation and would have thought of it, I would have stayed. So the reason why this resonates with me is that I would have been just as afraid on, and I would have been like, well, we know each other now. We might as well spend a Christmas together.
Yeah.
I guess you're making my sandwich.
This is intimacy.
And I would have been there. Yeah. Like there's the bartender over at the restaurant over here. Now I go there at 10 a.m. and I ain't drinking. I know, surprising. But I get my food, and there's a conversation. There's a rapport. We know each other now, right? And
It's got tabs to pull.
And so if it was the same situation,
How do you pay for sandwiches?
I can't. That's how you got to pay for the sandwiches. I got a whole shell game going, guys. You have no idea.
Keno, he's dialed in.
So you go in there, and now we got a whole report. So now if we're working together here on this, like, hey, you're going to feed me now. It's the same thing as the Mexican restaurant I go to. They know what combo I'm going to get today, and that's the way it's going to work. And so it's perfectly fine. And I know that if I see them, I'm just going to trust them. And I'm going to roll the dice.
You know, if you think about
and
it,
hope.
You're exactly right. If you really were to think about it every day and you were as neurotic as like Larry David, because it sounds like it's ripped from a Curb or a Seinfeld. If you were truly that neurotic, if everybody operated in that way, the whole system falls apart. We are trusting.
You have to trust
everybody at all
everything.
times.
You have to commute in. You have to trust the other drivers to stay in their lane.
Think about
you
that.
have to trust the guy that hosts on the other station to not be doing 35 around the curve today whenever I come in and run up on him and then worry about it.
Oh, and you're trusting complete strangers with your kids.
You got like one more month of that, and then you don't got to worry about it, okay?
That's true. I'm going to get yelled at again.
That day when he came in here and yelled at you like you were his son.
Guys, he was doing 32 today.
Oh,
32.
Want me to say something?
No, not yet.
Because he's going to yell at you for the bathroom.
He's on his way out, man. Just let him go. Just let it go.
A little tinkle gets
We've
on
made
the
it this
seat,
long.
and he makes a federal case, and it wasn't me.
We've made it this long.
It wasn't me. You got to wipe the seat no matter who is in front of you. That's the rules of the world.
Something about that generation jumping to conclusions. We've been saying things that Lyman just doesn't believe about Baker Mayfield. Go ahead.
Well, I listened to the afternoon show yesterday, and they had a vigorous blasting of the Browns for their mishandling of the Baker situation.
Yeah.
And I just felt like the national media has gotten this more right than the local media. Because local, you were too invested. We all were.
I was right. I'm here in the bubble, man. I'm here in the fight. The foxhole, the trenches.
I was guilty of it. I got too emotional. Kenny, you sometimes get too emotional?
I'm emotional. I get too emotional at least once a day.
Would you cop to that? You would?
Yeah.
But
yes.
Here's one way the story absolutely did not go. And I feel like it's being portrayed as this. Baker Mayfield gets drafted, number 1 overall. He takes the Browns to lands they haven't been before or in a long time. He came in, he beat Pittsburgh, and then the Browns said, you got to go. Okay, that is not how the thing went. And I feel like we're skipping a few hundred steps in between.
That is a good point.
Like, we were all here for it. Well,
that is a good
some of
point.
us were. And what didn't happen was Baker ended up becoming the hometown hero, and then we kicked him out the door with a broom. Get out of here, hero. Get out of here. Guy that took us to the playoffs and beat Big Ben and humiliated them and had us on the fringes of getting to the Super Bowl.
Oh, my gosh.
That's not what happened.
All
Come
right,
on.
that's a good point. Well, somebody did.
There were about 100 steps in between.
There were several who got in yesterday. They're like, you ran him out of town. You had him dead. I go, well, wait a minute. I must be a powerful SOB to go out there and get him not only kicked out of Cleveland, but also Carolina and Los Angeles. Damn, I'm in the wrong business
You're
here.
very powerful.
I should be in the United Nations if I'm that powerful, for crying out loud. So I agree with you to that, but at the same time, I stand by it yesterday. You got to learn your lesson. You got to learn your lesson. And it's a lesson that we're learning, and you're seeing this more and more with quarterbacks now in this generation and Baker's generation. You need to learn your lesson in patience. You need to be patient, because they're going to take a guy next year, and you better be patient with that guy. And I have something that somebody else says we need to learn coming up in 5 minutes. Also, I want you guys understand what this season means to the Cleveland Guardians, and how, yes, I do believe it can be a good season, even if it doesn't go our way. 216-474-0092. And by the way, we got Ghosts of Browns quarterbacks pass, giving us warnings about how the Browns are doing so far this year already. Like, I want to hear from them, but you will hear from them coming up at 7:02 on The Fan.
Anthony Lima for Diamonds Direct on.
I'm not saying he has no role in this. He's a head coach. He has a role. I feel like he's been given limited talent at certain spots, and they need this run game to be legitimate and a threat and keep defenses honest. Or otherwise, they're going to come after Joe Flacco all day and drop a bunch of guys, and then it's going to be hard.
Listen for Scott Petrak from the Chronicle Telegram Monday mornings at 11 on Cleveland's Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
I want to get to the Guardians and the possibility of the postseason coming up here in just moments. However, Lima, can you just say it like that again? How, like, there's a difference in perspective. Like, I know you heard John Middlecoff talking like, boy, he was like out of the league. Baker was out of the league. Yeah. And I'm not going to sit here and have a whole Baker show like we did yesterday.
No,
and you don't plan
no.
on it either.
No,
but you had to get it off your chest.
Baker's been awesome. He's been fun to watch. He does lead the NFL in interceptable passes, and he's got 0 interceptions.
The Panthers played him on scout team defense.
That's right. Because he was competing.
He was lined up at D end.
Wasn't he? Oh, my God. Come on.
There are pictures of it. I saw it last night.
You got to say, please do it again. Please say it again. I beg you.
But I think people are skipping some steps here if they're acting like Baker was just amazing as a Browns quarterback, and then we threw him out the door. That's not
beat Pittsburgh, and we gave him the old heave-ho.
Yeah, like, giddy up. We don't need you. Like, no, there were a lot of things going on. When I called in the afternoon show yesterday,
oh, God.
And I wish they wouldn't have been pressed for time because I would have loved to get in the argument. But we are forgetting a bunch of other reasons why they made the move, and it's not just the locker room stuff that was in doubt. Myles Garrett didn't seem very happy with the starting quarterback. There was a significant shoulder injury. Granted, it was the other shoulder, but they didn't know, what the healing situation would be. Obviously, when the report was out there that they were going after Deshaun Watson, immediately Baker was like, unsalvageable, I'm out of here. And even after, Deshaun got turned down, is there any way they could have, come to grips of this and mediated it? Obviously, it probably wasn't. So both sides were not happy with each other. Baker felt scorn. But also, and I think this was important, do we remember who was coming off the Super Bowl that year? It was Joe Burrow and Cincinnati.
Gosh,
and that was
right.
That was so early in Joe Burrow's career that it was like, we got to deal with this for the next decade.
Because I remember, you jogged my memory because I remember your biggest argument was, we sat here and tanked it out for 2 years. They had a 1 year, like, oh my God, this is awful. They got Joe Burrow and he's already better than our guy.
Yes.
And at the time, vastly better than our guy.
Oh, not even in the same stratosphere. And obviously Lamar had been an MVP. Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes 4 times over already. It was tough, and Josh Allen was coming. Holy cow. And that guy was big and tall and could run around. So he could put a whole team on his back. So Baker looked, in comparison to those guys, he looked diminished at that point.
He did.
Now, if your argument is be patient, that's a lesson to be learned. Fine, I'll hear that. There's a lot of instances where you wouldn't have wanted a team to be patient, like Kenny Pickett, Trey Lance. Like, you wouldn't have wanted to give a guy 4 or 5 years. The Giants gave Daniel Jones, 6 years? And now Daniel Jones looks like he might be. It's been 2 games. Like, let's not get crazy.
Yeah, but this is a comeback of all comebacks because Keith sent us something during the break where I forgot Baker was running defensive end on scout team.
Yeah, that's what Owen said. I could not believe it.
I had no idea about that. That's right. You guys are right about that. Let me hear the Albert Breer thing if we can, please. This is Albert Breer yesterday on the lessons we could have learned.
I don't know they have the version of Baker that exists now. I do think Baker would tell you this himself, that there was some growing up he had to do. And does that happen if they pay him? I don't know. I think the second piece to it is, just the cost of doing business at quarterback. And a big part of that discussion internally for them was they had gotten to the point where, okay, like, it's time to make a decision on him, and we got to figure out whether or not we're going to pay him and give him a big long-term deal, or we're going to move on. Do you look at that and say, we should have bitten the bullet, and it's just the cost of doing business of paying a guy at that position? Do you try to get away with paying him less? Do you go through the process of franchising him, which will probably piss him off and create like a different set of problems? It's just complicated, And it's sort of, I think, kind of the trickle-down effect of taking a quarterback first overall is Like, unless the guy is like a slam dunk, like he's going to Canton someday, you have these sorts of hard decisions you have to make.
And I don't know if you're going to find any of those guys, really. And I want to get back into that later because I wanted to get some Guardians in here before people get into work because they won a big game last night. Let me just say this. Compared to what we've already been through, let me learn this. And I think, I'm not disagreeing with Albert here. I don't care if the quarterback's pissed off by franchise tagging him. Yeah. I'd rather do I'm in agreement. I'd rather franchise tag him. Like, okay, go out there and play, and we'll give you a great big deal. It'll be fine. If you're pissed off about it, and then you go out there and you suck up the room, I guess you ain't worth it in the first place. So I'll go ahead and I'll do that. It's because I'm always going to use this as a litmus test in the future. Whether we're doing this when we're 50, whether we're doing this when we're 60 or 70, or never again after this week, I don't care. I will always use this as a litmus test. And going back to it, comparing it to this, where is it? I don't care about franchise tags. I would do something like they did with Jordan Love, where it's like, all right, we'll give you a little bit, and then we'll give you more after like injury and playing behind Rodgers and all that stuff. I'll do all that before I do what ended up happening.
But notice, Albert said this was tough. This was a difficult decision. I think what some people are now going back and say, this was easy. Yeah, give Baker all that money. And it's like, that's not the climate at the time. We were having knockout, drag-out fights on this exact topic day after day after day on what to do with Baker. This was not some slam dunk situation at all. And I feel like that's why I'm saying, I think locally, we all were in our confrontation and we were all battle mode. I wanted Baker out. I totally admit it. And now I absolutely was wrong 100 times over. But let's not get the facts, misconstrued. We have the tape. We may not have the YouTube videos back then, but we have the tape. We were going through huge battles on this. This was not an easy decision at the time.
Is it a great season just to make the postseason for this Guardians team this year?
I don't know, great, but it is an accomplishment now. I'm definitely willing to make it an accomplishment, especially considering how down this team, this city, this region was.
I don't want to sit here and go splitting hairs about words here, Tone, but I want to say, is it a great season just to make the postseason?
No, I wouldn't say great.
I'm willing to say yes. I'm willing to say it is. And the reason I'm willing to say it is because, again, you can't help who the owner is and you can't help the constraints that the owner puts on you. Now, I don't think he's actively working against you, but he's not helping you. He's not helping.
Well, it seems in slashing payroll, you might say he's actively working against.
But I would say, I don't believe that he's not Rachel Phelps. I don't think he'd slash payroll out of spite.
No, that's
I don't think he'd slash. I think that it's a business decision, and he has done his best, whether people agree or not. He has done his best to keep them a competitive ball club. They're obviously there's way more that they can do. He's done his best to make them a competitive ball club with the financial constraints that he has. But I think that he is become a detriment because of what they don't have now with the television deals compared to what other what other organizations have. And I think that for this team to have to pull back the purse strings after an ALCS, looking at the team, the manager, maybe front office, but maybe that's a third separate category. I think for them to make the postseason, if they get to the postseason, I will call it a great season. 216-474-0092. I want to know if people agree. You won a big game last night. Maybe I'm wrong.
Awesome
Maybe you got
game last
because
night.
I think there is a difference between the owner and the front office and the rest of the team. For the owner, no, it's not a great season just to make the postseason. We've been through this before. But for the team, guys, I have to separate the guys in uniform from the guy in the suit, even though I don't know if I've seen him wear a suit very much, from the guy in the suit that's in the owner's box. And if we're talking about just the team, if we can separate that, I think it's a great season considering what they weren't given this winter and what they had to deal with going into this year with David Fry, with the foot problem that Layden Thomas has had, guys that we were hoping that we would be able to count on. 216-474-0092. Is it a great season if they just make the postseason? And coming up, the ghosts of Browns QB pass are chiming in on our situation. This is going to be rich on the Fan.
It's Anthony Lima for Fanatic Sports.
Green Bay. Later on this morning, 10:55, we'll hear from head coach Kevin Stefanski live right here on 92.3 The Fan. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
All the Browns and NFL news you may have missed at work. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan.
I'm being called Ken Dolan now. Twitter actions brought to you by Scheibin Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. They're all in. Also, you can go to YouTube Live. Go ahead, call us everything.
So call me Anthony Haslam for defending the Browns over the Baker thing, which is indefensible right now.
What is going on here? What has happened?
Twilight Zone.
What a sad-ass day for the history of the show. 2-second trivia coming up at 7:45. Also, the first installment of the Unwatchables coming up at around 7:20. 216-474-0092. Is it a great season? Underline great. Is it a great season for the Guardians just to make the postseason? And I go, guys, separate I'm not defending the owner. I'm not defending the owner. I'll chant it. I'm not defending the owner. I'm not defending the owner. I'm not defending Paul Dolan. It's not a defense. It's not even an explanation. Well, it's a little bit of an explanation. It's certainly not an excuse. I'm not defending Paul. I'm looking at the guys in the uniforms. I'm looking at the guys in the clubhouse. The actual team. They were how many games back? 12 or 15? I didn't even look.
15 and a half.
I haven't looked until last week when Owen's like, hey, they can make a run here. I haven't looked since then. Or since before then. Like, it was just nothing. And now you're 5.5 out. You win this great game yesterday in extra innings. And you're looking at your manager. Hey, we gave him hell last week when he put Tim Herron in. Things got blown up. People were upset. I give him credit for putting in Tim Herron, for sticking with his guys. You got to have confidence in your guys to have them come around you. You're not the Yankees. You can't be willy-nilly about this stuff. He did a tremendous job with it. I want to give him credit where it's due. So Tim Herron comes in. He strikes out the side after he comes in yesterday. We already have a batter on, or a runner on. Comes in, strikes out the side. You had Cade Smith give it up. I thought for sure this game was going to end up being a loss. I was sick. The top of the 10th was great. You end up winning the game 7-5. You're managing this like a postseason series now. You got everybody bumped up. Gavin Williams is tonight. Tomorrow you will have Tanner Bybee going against Tarek Skubal. This is a big, big series here. A.J. Hinch feeling the heat a bit. Everybody feeling the pressure a bit. Going, this is a big moment. If this team, which had David Fry on the mend, had Lane Thomas get hurt, these were big pieces that you knew, like the David Fry thing you knew, obviously, going into the offseason. You were like, it's going to be a minute. But also, you didn't think that Lane Thomas was going to get hurt again. These are big pieces that you're missing here. I mean, good God. This for this group to make it would be a tremendous accomplishment. And you could turn right around and say, hey, cheap ass, when are you going to start to put something back into this baseball team? I don't give a damn about your TV deal. I don't give a damn about your work stoppage. I don't care about your money. I care about you putting the team out there. You have every right to do that. Every single right in the world. But I got to give credit to the guys who are in the clubhouse. I'm making a clear line in the sand here about who I am giving my support to.
Yeah.
You sound like you disagreed with me.
No, I don't disagree with that part of it. I mean, I don't sit there watching teams down the stretch try to make the playoffs and think of the owner. I mean, they're the last. I know baseball, they make it hard for you to do that, but that's the last person I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about this team and how we all kind of collectively buried the team. And, they had earned that. They had not played well. They had not looked like they had signs of life. There was nothing about them that seemed special.
Yes.
As I look today, what's amazing is they're 8 games above 500. They still have given up more runs than they've scored this year.
Yes.
That is very rare. That doesn't typically happen in baseball. But yet, this is where a manager deserves credit. This is where that clubhouse deserves credit. They don't have Terry. They don't have Tito anymore as the safety valve, as the blanket, just to fix everything and to make them feel good enough No, they had to go do this on their own. It's why it was important that they had such a great year that they did last year to kind of build that confidence, that trust in each other. That works two ways in that clubhouse. And so as we're sitting here, the fact that they're even in this thing, considering the lineups they had trotted out all season long, and we'll see like Manzardo, and now, you bring up Kafis. This is a bit of a different team now. A lot of these teams, shift. Their identities can shift over the course of a year. So I do think it is to me, I'll say it is an accomplishment if they're able to make the playoffs. You don't just roll out the baseballs and with their payroll and boom, they're in the playoffs. Like, that doesn't happen in this sport. Not with this team.
I'm still listen, I will still be agitated with the owner because I get nervous about Jose Ramirez's window. I mean, we're talking about 32 years old here. You don't know how many more years you have where the window is open. I don't think that they've done enough. I think that we've done too much. I think Paul Dolan has played almost a victim too much where you're like, dude, you're still a billionaire. I know that the $4.6 billion that is in the Dolan Family Trust, I know that's not all yours. I've been very, very honest about that up front. I know that that's a misleading number because it's in the whole family and there's like 18,000 different Dolans there that have access to that, and you can't just use it for your baseball team. Okay, fine. All right. Fair. But damn it, man. Like, I still think you can have your cake and eat it too if you're a Guardians fan. I don't know how far they're going to go in the postseason. I think a lot of people go, well, if they go to the postseason, maybe they'll just lose in the wild card and that's it. I don't know. If you're hotter than hell going into the postseason, and this is a team that has postseason experience, maybe they will. Hopefully we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But if they don't make it that far, and hell, you know what? Even if they do make it that far, like say they go back to the ALCS and they get beat again in the ALCS, you can go, hey, cheap ass, you haven't done enough for your baseball team. They have now in your face been resilient to you for you pulling back the purse strings on them. And then they've been able to get back to the LCS. So either way, guys, you got a bitch. You got a gripe. So you can have everything you want. You can have a successful baseball team and you can complain about the owner. We got it all. We got it all. Is that not the perfect thing? Unless they go out and win the World Series, then that'd be fantastic too, obviously. But if they just make the postseason, considering where they were, I basically thought that the season was over compared to where they've been before, I think it would be tremendous. You'd think it would be a great season if they made the postseason. Anthony in Cleveland Heights, you're next up on the Fan. Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
It's a great season because baseball is my favorite sport, so I enjoy it no matter what happens during the season. I follow the Guardians as my favorite team in the city, so that makes it easy because then you're not so dependent on the Guardians win, the Dolans are great. The Guardians lose, the Dolans are bad. The Guardians win, the Dolans are great. It's back and forth. If you just focus on enjoying the process, you're not going to drive yourself into neurosis. Now, one thing I want to point out, I'm a little surprised with Anthony Lima. You got to give yourself some credit because earlier this year you had some debates on your show about the Guardians when they were in the doldrums of the 10-game losing streak. And Lima, you had said what you should say and what you should do is defend the Dolans because you said and look at the track record of this organization. They are consistently competitive. So bank on that. Don't bank on a poor stretch in one season and, of a 10-game losing streak and say, why don't you just relax and see what this organization does on a regular basis and trust that. Now, to be honest, that's what I've done in like the various chat rooms and discussions that I had over the years.
Chat rooms, Anthony.
Season.
Chat rooms.
ASL.
Yeah.
But
I remember the
here's
ASL days.
Here's the funny thing. Those people that I was talking to this year that I said, just relax because look at the track record of the organization, they are now coming to me now and saying, you were right, I was wrong. Because they
want your playoff tickets.
I'm sorry?
They want your playoff tickets.
They probably want my playoff tickets. And they think I'm smart about baseball. And you know what? To be honest, I just have an average amount of knowledge. But what I tell them is, why don't you just look at the track record of the organization and make your decision based on that, not on a 5-game losing streak or a 9-game losing streak in August. So
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Anthony is the first caller we've ever had. That's
I'm average.
Like we've had callers say like, "Oh, I'm just an idiot, guys." We've had callers say that they were smarter than everybody in Cleveland. And Anthony, thank you for the call. We've never had a caller just say, "You know what? I'm average."
Middle of the road.
And I respect that. Knowing who you are,
Don't you get a
knowing
bump
who you
for
ain't.
that?
I think you get a bump for that.
Because if you think you're smart, then you lose some points.
Well, everybody thinks they're smart.
Fredo bump.
Nobody likes being called stupid. And everybody thinks they're smarter than everybody else. But when you say, hey, I'm average, that's a person who has a firm grip on reality no matter what. Yeah, go ahead, Anthony Dolan.
You have an awareness
Go right on
factor.
ahead.
Okay, I wouldn't say that I defended the Dolans, so to speak. I think it was more
I was calling you Anthony Dolan.
It was
you were
more
running Matt Dolan's campaign.
It was more the organization, and I also
Dolan we're talking.
If it was that I was defending, if it sounded like I was defending the owner, I think it was more like I was attacking baseball. I was attacking the state of affairs in baseball, where nobody seems to be happy with the amount of money their owner spends, and that's a bigger problem. But today, we don't have to think about that. Do you realize after July 5th, which was a day I think you guys are going to be remembering because they were so far buried in the division, they had lost their 10th straight game. They are now tied with the Phillies for the second best record in baseball since that moment. Only the Brewers have a better record since that moment. So we all buried them. I'm not going to act like I still believed in them. I didn't. I thought this was going to be a lost year. And I think we came on the air on July 6th and said, guys, it's just a lost year. Credit to them for not believing that. Credit to them for still going out there day in and day out and feeling like they could salvage the season. Because it's because of that mindset and because of that winning attitude that I think is part of the culture in that clubhouse that has been built over time, 10, 20 years, that they are sitting here right now with a shot not only to make the wild card, but to also compete and maybe win the division, which is improbable considering where they were.
So we got a lot coming up in the next segment. We got Unwatchables, the first installment there. The teams that Lima already don't want to watch in the NFL. It can't be the Browns. Don't even give me the Browns.
We will.
So there's 31 teams that are possibly there for the Unwatchables. We got 2-second trivia coming up at 7:45. Your chance to win some free Mr. Hero. Eating free Mr. Hero is always the gift that keeps on giving. I want to get to some people on this. 216-474-0092. Is it a great season just to make the postseason? The Browns have had 40 quarterbacks since 99, right? 40. You've heard Bob Griffin talk about the Browns. You heard Johnny talk about the Browns. I have a blast from the past that is talking about the Browns, and he feels bad for Shedeur Sanders. It's coming up at 10 on The Fan.
You seeing news about an interest rate cut? Are you seeing?
and their lead over the Guardians is just 2.5 games. Browns back to practice day in Bree, getting ready for Sunday's game against the Packers at the stadium. Later on this morning, 10:55, we'll hear from head coach Kevin Stefanski live here on 92.3 The Fan. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
More on this, and then you ain't gonna believe who feels bad for Shador. God. We'll see what he says. Maybe I'll be more open-minded than I think I am. We'll find out coming up here in moments. 216-474-0092. Is it a great season if the Guardians make the postseason? Is it a great season if they just make the postseason? 5.5 games out of the Central right now. 2.5 games out of the wild card race. Houston in a free fall right now.
And it's actually Boston that they're 2.5.
Yes.
I mean, so there's 2 wild card spots for them up for grabs. They're 3 games out of the second wild card spot.
Yes.
So there's been opportunities opened.
We have chances. And the chances can be taken advantage of. Tonight, you have Gavin Williams. Tomorrow, you have Tarek Skubal taking on Tanner Bybee. Is it a great season if the Guardians make the postseason? Matt on the road, you're first up on the Fan. Hello.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Not terrible, Matt. Go right on ahead.
All right. So, I think you've heard me go off about the Guardians before, but I don't know. I just feel like I'd be happy if they made the playoffs, obviously, because, playoffs are playoffs. My worry is that would it be giving the wrong message to the ownership that, and just the organization in general that just, they can do this just, what is it called? Just towing the line kind of process with just cutting payroll and just kind of doing the bare minimum, and they can still sneak in the playoffs like that. I almost feel like this third wild card thing has enabled a lot of these teams just keep just almost like getting away with just not having any incentive to improve your team.
I think a lot of people think the same way you do, Matt. Go ahead.
Well, because I feel like a lot of this is smoke and mirrors, and I looked this up, and they're still, since July 1st, they've only scored 3 runs in, I think 25 games, and it's still 23rd in baseball. So you can't tell me, once we get in the playoffs, and when, you're facing everyone's best pitcher, that it's just the offense is going to magically turn on. I think you're just going to see a bunch of situations again where we're scoring 2 or 3 runs and the other team scores 4 to 5, and we're just not going to have the horsepower.
Honestly,
they'll be underdogs.
More than likely,
they'll be massive underdogs to make a run.
Yes, they will be. Matt, I tell you, and thank you very much for the call. Matt, I think, shares the sentiment of a majority of Guardians fans. I don't think there's any lesson they're going to learn no matter what.
But wait, does that mean he's not going to be excited, though, when he is watching them with his buddies, and it's that first playoff game?
Oh, he'll do what a lot of us do.
And it's Columbus Day, and we've been celebrating in Little Italy all day.
He will separate. Is it really?
It's lined up before.
Yeah, that's right. He will. What Matt will do is what a lot of people do. Is they will separate. He's not going to stop being a fan. He's not going to turn into Randy Quaid in Major League 2. Can I correct
something real quick? He said they've scored 3 or more than 3 25 times since July 1st. It's actually 38 times.
Oh, that's a lot. Oh, that's a hell of a lot.
It's the 4-run threshold that is what they need.
Did you use AI for that? Or
no, I used my eyes.
So that was impressive.
You were able to do that quick?
Well, I have it pulled up right here.
Still.
Then I go 1, 2, skip a few.
He was in the Air Force.
Who needs AI?
You got to be good at math to be in the Air Force.
Yeah.
He was a mechanic in the Air Force. He did a lot of work in the damn Air Force. I've never accused him of being bad at math. I've accused him of a lot of other terrible things.
That's an old history.
What Matt...
That stays in the Pacific, man.
I think Matt needs to know, and I think he probably does know, is that they ain't going to learn no lessons. So they will look at, even if they don't make the postseason, it's not like Paul Dolan's going to go, you know what, guys? I've been Scrooge McDuck, and now I got to dive in, and I got to take all the gold coins out, and I got to hand you guys all the gold coins and go out and buy all these players. He's not going to do that. They're gonna see what they've done over the last 15, 20 years now, because they've owned the team for a long time, and they've really had this formula for a while now. and they're going to say, we've made the postseason. We've been a consistent organization. They'll probably say we overachieved last year. They probably say that regardless. They overachieved last year, and they'll continue to do what they've done because what they've done has essentially worked. So there's no lesson to be learned by not making the postseason. There's no lesson to be learned by them doing it. So I might as well, the players that we have are the players that we have. I'm not saying that if they make the postseason, all of a sudden Paul Dolan's going to go, you know what? This team's close. Let me go spend all this money. Honestly, that would just be up to David Blitzer if David Blitzer wanted to help out. I'm not even pointing that out. So that's why I'm saying I'm rooting for the guys, and I will say that for the guys on the team, it's a great season just by making the postseason. I know we got to move on.
Yeah, people are probably not going to want to hear this. The Guardians will probably never be the favorite ever again. Like under the chasm and the constraints that we have, the difference between them and payroll and the other teams, they'll never be the favorite going into the playoffs.
That's probably even if there's an ownership change in the future.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We don't need to remind people that every day because, I mean, we know that the people who understand the sport and follow the sport, they know that. But the reality is they're never going to be the favorites. They're always going to have to be the plucky underdog. That's it. And if you're not into that, then baseball in 2025 is definitely not for you.
The first installment of the Unwatchables coming up in moments. We've got 2-second trivia at 7:45. So there's 40 quarterbacks that have played for the Cleveland Browns since 99. I think we're still at 40.
That have started a game.
Yes, about to be 40. Yeah, it's true. Have started a game. About to be at 41 any time now. But we're at 40. And we've heard from Johnny. Yeah. We've had Brian on the show. Hey. Tim Couch. There's been a lot of names out there that have talked about the Browns, Brady Quinn, ever since they played. Aqib Talib is on a podcast called The Arena Gridiron. Aqib Talib didn't play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, obviously. But you know who he was with? He was with Tastios, Cody Kessler. And Cody says he wishes Shedeur could develop somewhere else but Cleveland.
I'm not worried about right now. I'm worried about longevity. Fit and system is so important for a quarterback more than any other position in all of sports. If you throw a quarterback in before they're ready, you could significantly hurt their development and their confidence. I just wish it was somewhere else. I wish he would go to a different place where he could be developed. Because the biggest thing in all this,
now you become a backup quarterback, and we can
not for life.
What backup quarterback has been a backup quarterback and became a starter? Romo. Who else are backup quarterbacks?
It's a bad
example. They just became a starter in the league.
It's a Romo,
Who else? No. Them guys are drafted to, in 3 years, he's finna be the starter. That's not the situation in Baltimore. You were drafted to be a backup. If I can't start and be the star, then I can do other I'm already rich.
That's some strong stuff to be said. I got to agree with Aqib Talib, though. We argued about it a little bit on Monday. If you're looking to develop, without a doubt, Baltimore's the place. If you believe you need to be a starter sooner than later, Cleveland is the place. He would maybe start week 18 in mop-up duty. Because if you're a backup, I don't believe, this is what people got mixed up on Monday when we talked about it a little bit. I don't think Shedeur would be backup number 2 or the primary backup in Baltimore. I think they probably do it the same way the Browns did. Like, you'd be third on the depth chart. And so that starter in week 18, if he were the backup quarterback, he might start week 18 or get in mop-up duty. But if you're just the backup's backup, which is what Shedeur is, no, you have a much better chance to start sooner in Cleveland with the Browns as a quarterback, as you've seen throughout 1999 up till now, than anything that's been going on in Baltimore. They've had pretty steady quarterback play over the last 20 years now.
I would have agreed with you if they just wouldn't have taken Dylan Gabriel. The fact that they took a guy ahead of him means he's automatically going to be behind him. So that's the only fly in the ointment here, is that no other team, had they have drafted him, would have also drafted a quarterback in the same draft. It's only happened like 4 times in the history of football, that in modern day history, that teams have taken 2 quarterbacks, and one of them is the famous RG3 Kirk Cousins scenario.
But do you believe that the Ravens of all teams, would they rush Shedeur Sanders to be the primary backup?
To be the primary backup? No. That's the other issue in all of this, is I only think what teams would have. We went through the rosters, after the first night of the draft, and we're like, where would it even make sense for him to go? And really the Saints came up, right? Mm-hmm. But that's how many teams?
But we
the
were
Giants.
We were arguing with youth. The Giants took Jackson Dart.
Mm-hmm.
They took Tyler Shuck down in New Orleans.
Yeah, they took Dart.
The Jets, they went on, got Justin Fields. Again, the quarterback everybody wants and no one wants to start. Now all of a sudden they're talking about that future there. Who saw that one coming? You got three of those situations with the Browns and against the Ravens, because it goes back to the 141. The Ravens were thinking of taking him. Adam Schefter had that on Sunday. The Ravens were thinking about taking him. He said, nah, I'd rather have a place where I'd be starting sooner. And so, according to Adam Schefter, he bowed out, and then the Browns ended up taking him at 144. I just think you look at this, and if you wanted to be a starting quarterback as soon as you possibly could, the Browns are the place where you go. Between those two franchises, if it's just a Browns-Ravens conversation, which it seems to be, it is. I mean, you're at 141 and 144. If it's a Browns-Ravens conversation, it's the Browns. It's the Browns. You'll get a chance earlier than later. Like, I don't know when Dylan Gabriel takes over. Do you think Dylan Gabriel finishes the season once he takes over, unless he takes over week 14?
He has to be good. He has to be good. Yeah.
And do you have faith that he's going to be good enough to finish the season?
I do not.
No, and I don't think so either. So you and I both think that way about Dylan. And I hope we're wrong. But if he goes out there and he plays, he'll probably play about 4 weeks or so, probably turn into a pumpkin, and then it's going to be Shedeur Sanders time. And we'll see how long he goes, whether he goes a week or not.
Does it matter to you?
Maybe we'll go back to Dylan Gabriel, because I certainly don't want to go to somebody else.
Does it matter to you that all the reports have been he's so far behind, he couldn't even get those first-team reps in camp? Diana Rossini said the plan has always been to sit him for the whole year. Does that change your perspective at all, especially with Deshaun Watson looming? A guy that they have money sunk into, that I feel like we've all given up on him.
I don't think they're
But are there people in the organization who have not yet given up on him?
I don't think they're going to play Deshaun Watson just because they owe him money. Now, if you were going to go with who's the more talented quarterback, yeah, I'd have to admit that Deshaun Watson is the more talented quarterback. But I don't think that they're just going to play Deshaun Watson because of everything else that's happened over the last 3 years. I think that Shedeur Sanders would get the first crack at that. Now, if you were to give me the Bailey Zappi part of it, well, you know how I'd feel about it, but I guess it would make football sense to them if they wanted to do the Bailey Zappi thing. Deshaun Watson's a completely different animal. We got unwatchables coming up in moments.
What do you think the guys, like Myles Garrett is the first one you go to. What do you think Myles would rather have happen? Would it be to go to Shedeur or go to like Deshaun Watson in that terrible situation in week 14?
You're going to call me a cop out here. This is going to end up taking over. We ain't going to get to the unwatchables.
Well, I got one team.
Well, can I just say?
Yeah.
I don't care what he thinks.
Okay.
You signed your contract. I don't care. Once that deal was signed, sorry. I have.
Is there anybody you do care about in the locker room?
Yeah, certainly. I care about Carson Schlesinger. I care about Mason Graham. I care about Dylan Sampson. I care about Quinshon Judkins. I care about I would have to say I care about DeJuan Jones. I care about some of the younger guys.
Those guys aren't going to step up and talk to the media and raise flags.
Okay, but
sound the alarms if something is going wrong. Myles Garrett will.
And he had his chance to really make a stink and get out of here, and he didn't do that. He signed for more money, and now it's an untradeable contract.
But Ken,
so you just have to deal with it now, sir.
But dealing with it is making sure not to have him. He's already saying stuff's embarrassing. It's week 2.
Okay.
Do you want that guy? Do you want to risk that guy, contaminating next year too? Like that's what I'm talking about here. Carson Schlesinger isn't.
What's he
like? Those other Quinshon Judkins is not going to
make his own situation even worse
or talk. And by the way, who do you think's talking to Diana Rossini?
Is he going to make his own situation even worse?
What players do you think are even leaking stuff to the national reporters?
It doesn't matter to me about that. But does he want?
Probably Myles. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, fine. But does he want to make his own situation even worse? You can go ahead and bitch our ear off all you want about the quarterback situation.
But he doesn't think he's doing that.
You signed the contract. You took the money. It's up to you to make it better.
He might be thinking he's making it better by getting his opinion out.
Okay, fine. So
he is one of the leaders.
So I'm sure he'll do what everybody thinks is best, and maybe he'll start to talk, and maybe he'll start to really complain, and maybe he'll get Kevin fired and Andrew fired, and people will be thankful for that for all we know. But it's still not going to make the situation any better. I'm sorry, man. I'm not sorry. You signed the contract. You deal with what comes. It's that simple. You signed a deal that's now untradeable. Is it $86 million in dead cap if they traded him? Exactly. So trading him is no longer even in the conversation. That's dead. You signed it, you deal with it. Week 2 doesn't portend to something that's going to be really good for the future. If you're saying bleep's embarrassing already, hey, buddy, you didn't have to sign anything. You could have sat there and folded your arms and stomped your feet or had your agent say something and say, I want out of this. I want legacy. Trade me now. You could have done that. You didn't do it. Now you have to stand in there and you have to be, I don't know about a leader, but you have to stand in there and you have to be a good football player for this football team. Because guess what? You signed it. You're here forever. I'm like Mr. Burns now. I'll go into the locker room and put a sign, you're here forever. Because that's it now. So you can yell at all you want. You can cuss all you want in press conferences. Say anything you want. You ain't going anywhere now. Around the AFC North coming up at 8 o'clock. 2-second trivia. 216-474-0092. You want to eat some free Mr. Hero? Who don't want to eat free Mr. Hero? I want to eat free Mr. Hero. You can get Roman burgers. You can get the BLTE, Nashville hot chicken, them waffle doodles. So good. Make sure you get it, but you got to get in on 2-second trivia. 216-474-0092. 2-second trivia. Your chance to eat free Mr. Hero. Coming up next on The Fan.
Anthony Limo for Diamonds Direct, corner Richmond and Cedar Road. I talk about the perks of Diamonds Direct because it's
Hokies.
This is the Duke's country song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app. You have 2 seconds, and only 2 seconds to win. This is 2-second trivia.
It is time for 2-second trivia, and your chance to eat some free Mr. Hero. Yummy. 216-474-0092. You can win a 4-pack of Mr. Hero combo meals. Mr. Hero has 9 different sidekicks to choose from. Yes, try the new sidekicks: pepperoni and cheese bites, fried pickles, breaded mushrooms, so much more. They all now introduce the loaded potato wafers piled with cheddar cheese sauce, ranch, bacon, and chives. 216-474-0092. It is time for 2-second trivia. Tone, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to the phones. Nick in Medina, home of the Highland Hornets. Nick, are you ready for 2-second trivia?
Showtime.
He's ready. Lima, take it away.
Now, it's only been 2 games, but who leads the Browns in tackles throughout the first 2 games?
McGuire.
It's only been 2.
The answer should probably be easy, right?
Oh, you didn't think that was easy?
I thought that was easy.
Oh. Easier, but sometimes.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've given it away in the first person every now and then. You've given it away in the first person every now and then. Patrick in Cleveland. Patrick, good morning.
Good morning.
Home of the Rhodes Rams. Patrick, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's fly.
Lima, take it away.
All right, there are 2 independent FBS teams in college football. Notre Dame, of course, one of them. Can you name me the second?
Liberty.
Good guess.
Liberty is wrong. Wrong.
Where Mason wants to go to school.
Really?
It's amazing.
That's interesting.
He's with his grandfather. They watch a lot of news, and it seems like he wants to go to Liberty. He's only 19 months.
Well, you got to start him early. I will send you the information for Hillsdale College soon enough. Ted in Cuyahoga Falls, home of the Fighting Black Tigers. Are you ready,
Hello.
Ted?
Ready.
Lima, take it away.
Now, it's only been 2 games, but who leads the Browns in points so far this year with 12?
Oh.
That is not the answer.
Oh, boy.
John in Walton Hills, home of I think I finally got it right after all these years. The Normandy Invaders.
Morning, gentlemen.
John's ready. Lima, take it away.
Which SEC quarterback did Ken Carman add to his Browns watch list during last week's show?
Oh, Duke's Mayo. I don't know.
Oh, John, so close but so very far. I am what they call a Mayo boy. But that is not the quarterback that I added to the list.
It does sound like an SEC quarterback.
It does sound like that. Troy in Cleveland, home of the East Tech Scarabs. Troy, are you ready?
Let's go.
Lima, take it away.
Stanford is in what conference?
The Pac-10.
R.I.P. to the old Pac-10.
It's coming
and
back.
Then 12.
It's coming back. Zombie conference time.
Is the Bobcats going to want to go there too?
Hey.
Come on.
Nothing says Pacific Coast like Athens, Ohio. Matt in Wycliffe, home of the Blue Devils. Matt, are you ready?
Let's go.
Limo, take it away.
Matt, who is the passing yards leader? It's only 2 games in the NFL.
Josh Allen.
Freed up some phone lines. 216-474-0092. Let's go to Cody in Elyria, home of the Pioneers. Cody, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Lima, take it away.
They call them America's team, the Cowboys, but does somebody in America even know who their head coach is?
Sean Hubbard.
I think we got to give it to him.
Oh, no! I didn't hear what he said. I thought he said Sean Lewis. I swear to God.
No, he said Schottenheimer. Do we want to put it in hiatus?
Get Cody back. Get Cody back.
Do you have a diabolical question?
Oh, my God. I thought he said Schottenheimer. I thought he said Sean Lewis.
Do you have a diabolical question? As we blew through all the Baker Mayfield ones.
Oh, my God.
Do you want to talk about the LeBron I Promise school?
I saw your tweet.
I had to tweet last night.
You did,
I did, yes, because
what did you say?
There were some report cards that came out. By the way, Bay Village doing mighty fine, thank you very much, as is West Geauga. The school that I went to is doing pretty well.
Oh, my God.
I think Chagrin Falls was number one. Your thoughts?
In your hearts?
I was in Chagrin Falls last week.
You seem to go there a lot, Kenny.
It was a sexy time. No, I'm kidding. I can't believe I did. What do I do, Owen?
Were we able to reestablish?
No, what do I do? I wasn't able to reestablish. Do we just go on because of my error?
Let's go on. Let's move on.
Just got to go on.
We'll see what we can do. We'll have
I didn't hear him clearly.
We'll have Mitch ask him another question off the air when he calls back.
I didn't hear him clearly.
We'll see if the prize gods are in their favor.
Moving on.
Let's go.
Chris in Bedford. Chris, good morning.
Hi.
Home of the Bearcats.
Even he's mad.
He's disgusted.
Walton Hills is actually the home of the Bearcats, too. So just so you know, Kenny.
I didn't know that.
Don't hang up on him.
Lima, take it away.
Who is the Saints head coach?
Bob Dole.
And Bob Dole doesn't.
He said Bob Dole, Ken.
I know, I heard him that time.
I thought he said Schottenheimer.
Shut up. Damn it. Trevor in Medina. Hello, Trevor.
Hello, Ken.
In the AP Top 25, can you name them?
It's Notre Dame.
Yes. Yes. Fraudy McFraudersons. Boy, Doug Lesmerises is not happy about that in his formula.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Don't me, I got it right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Trevor is in the barn.
All right.
Are we ready, Trevor, for your chance to eat some free Mr. Hero?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Lima, take it away.
Who created the NBA on NBC theme?
Danny Elfman.
Wow.
Danny Elfman.
I thought for sure you were going to get it. Because now I go back to, this is Cody in Bedford. Hello,
we have a
Cody.
rescue situation.
Cody.
We're back.
And better than ever.
I apologize, Cody.
Yeah, man.
All
Whatever.
right. If you're just... What? All right. Cody is already in the barn.
Here we go.
If you're just joining us, I messed it up. I thought he said Sean Lewis. So here we go. For your chance to eat some free Mr. Hero. Lima, take it away.
All right. Who has the best record in all of baseball?
Oh, the Dodgers.
What did he say?
He said the Dodgers after the buzzer went off.
Oh, what do we do?
And it wasn't right.
Nope. Bye-bye.
They do not have it.
Well, now I feel much better.
Okay.
All right, rapid fire. Here we go.
Let's
Rich
go.
in Strongsville. Rich, ready, go. Tony, go.
All right. What conference is Cincinnati in?
Joe in the...
It's 2-second trivia, not 3.5-second trivia.
Joe in the capital city. Joe, you ready? He is. Tone, take it away.
The Browns hosting the Packers Sunday. Which team did the Browns beat in their last win at home all the way back last year?
The Ravens.
They said they were too easy last time.
Ray in Akron, home of the North Vikings. Ray is ready. Tone, take it away.
Which Mariner slugger broke Mickey Mantle's single-season home run record for a switch hitter last night?
Candace Owen.
Was it? Did she?
Gino in Northfield. You do not get 19 seconds. You only get 2. Wait, it's 19 minutes. You don't get 19 minutes. You only get 2 seconds. Lima, take it away.
Who leads the Browns in points so far this year with 12?
We got 2 more. Ryan and Talmadge. Ryan, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Lima, take it away.
All right, NBC going to debut their NBA coverage coming up soon. Who's their lead play-by-play guy?
John Fanta.
Say John Fanta.
He said John Fanta, but I don't believe that is true. Is it true?
No, it is not.
Okay. Bye, Ryan. Frank on the road. Frank, you ready?
Let's try it.
Lima, take it away.
How far back right now are the Guardians in the wild card?
2.5.
Yes!
Ladies and gentlemen, Frank is in the barn. Your chance. The final buzzer beater. You get 2 seconds. 2 seconds only to win. Are you ready, Frank? Frank, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Lima, take it away.
It's only 2 games, damn it! Who leads the Browns in tackles?
Schlesinger.
No? Oh, I thought that was true.
It was close.
Is it Devin Bush?
Yeah.
It is. It's Devin Bush. Damn it. I thought it was Carson Schlesinger.
It's the Bushmaster. All right. We'll get him next time.
Bob Haney, Mo Egger, Chris. I'm glad that guy got that second question. They're all joining us. Around the AFC North. When the hell would they start Dylan Gabriel? They join us next on The Fan. Northeast Factory Direct at northeastfactorydirect.com. I hear you loud and clear. This
Later on this morning, 10:55, we'll hear from head coach Kevin Stefanski live right here on 92.3 The Fan. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Find out what happened in Berea while you're working. The Afternoon Drive, weekdays at 2, 92.3 The Fan.
Some of you got to remember, all them guests appear on the Fan Hotline. You can also watch us on YouTube Live, 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Go ahead, like and subscribe if you will, and then watch us make fun of our appearance, which I love the chat when it starts. Everybody's like, hello, good morning. It's 6 a.m. And then by around this time,
so pleasant.
they are cussing each other clean out over quarterbacks. So if you want to join the chat, go right on ahead and do so, my friends. Let's go around the AFC North. It's week 3 in the NFL, and our first stop, Baltimore. Bob Haney, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, as they get set to host the Detroit Lions Monday night on Monday Night Football. I'm sorry, the Guardians are playing the Tigers this week, and I got baseball on my mind right now, Bob. But however, I should have the Ravens on my mind right now. What did you think of the performance of the Browns defense? Do you believe that they will be wasted this year by the terrible Browns offense?
Let's see. The Browns defense was very, very good in the first half, and we were talking about it on our show, Vinny and Haney, this week, that even though Lamar's final stat line was great, 4 touchdowns, quarterback rating well over 120, first half he was off the mark in a big way. They rushed for 45 yards as a team. Derrick Henry was a non-factor. Delpit knocked the ball out of Andrews' hands in the end zone to save a touchdown for the time. So the defense is certainly there. I know Myles Garrett was frustrated after the fact, kind of taking the blame, it seemed like, for the defense. But, yeah, your offense got some problemos there, but I like what I saw from Dylan Gabriel. Not that the Browns fans care what I think.
Well, yeah, we kind of got to get to that. Were you surprised at how dominating for 2.5 quarters the Browns defense was? I did notice, like, when I saw Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in week 1, they were doing RPO stuff. Obviously, the threat of the run from the quarterback was there. He didn't even look like he wanted to run against the Browns.
No, he was very timid, it seemed, or apprehensive maybe is the better word, to run the football, and he was frustrated. I mean, I watched the game on the couch and on television, but he seemed to be very frustrated on the sidelines, and, you know, Todd Monken wasn't real happy with the flow of the offense, and obviously Cleveland's defense had a lot to do with it. Now you got the Lions coming up this Sunday, and they look good against the Bears because they put up all those points early to build a nice little cushion. But, you know, Green Bay kind of got at them pretty good in the opener, so I don't know what Ravens offense will show up, the one in the first half against Cleveland or the one that was moving up and down the field for 3 quarters against Buffalo, and what Lions defense is going to show up and slow this thing down. I can't see the Ravens rushing for only 45 yards again. I will go out on a limb with that one.
How soon would you play Dylan Gabriel if you were the Browns?
Against Green Bay, coming up on Sunday.
You'd
we love
start
Joe
him.
Flacco. I love Joe Flacco. I'm a Flacco fan, always have been. His number 5's going up at M&T Bank Stadium the minute he decides not to play anymore. But, you know, the offensive line against the pass rush that can get at him, as Green Bay's going to have. I mean, he seems to be at a disadvantage. Give the Ohio State kids some carries to give him some semblance of a running game, I guess, for some help. But I'd get Gabriel in there as quickly as possible. But then again, if you give Joe one more start, it's only delaying the inevitable anyway, right?
Yep. Bob, one final question from me. Did we in Cleveland obsess too much about the 30th anniversary celebration?
Well, let's put it this way. I was on, 2 weeks ago, and you guys brought it up. I didn't even know it was happening. So I around here, it was like, oh, wow, I didn't even know that. I thought, quite personally, it was just a happenstance sort of thing. It's the home opener. The schedule gods had Cleveland coming in for that one. Now, if the Ravens were playing the Browns in Week 8, then they planned it around that game, then I would have really taken offense because it would have been pretty much an obvious shot there.
Real quick, yes or no, do you have a problem with Tom Brady being in the coach's booth?
Yeah. And I don't even know how to explain it. And it was the suit and the tie and the headphones. I think the whole look just agitated me, even though the NFL said he did nothing wrong. But then again, there's got to be some conflict of interest in there in some way, shape, or form.
Bob Haney, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, as the Ravens get set to host the Detroit Lions Monday night on, obviously, Monday Night Football. We go to Cincinnati, where there is a big problem along the river. Mo Egger's willing to talk about it with us. ESPN 1530 as they get set to host. Is it Miami? I wrote this wrong here. Who do you guys host on Sunday? You guys host Minnesota. No, you're going to Minnesota Sunday at 1 p.m. Joe Burrow, he's hurt. Jake Browning, is he the long-term solution for the next 3 months?
Yes, and I think they're pretty comfortable with that. You know, Jake obviously, unfortunately, had to play the final 7 games of the season 2 years ago and played capably. I think really if you look at those games, he had one true clunker. Beyond that, he played pretty well That was his first taste of any kind of NFL action, and came up big in a couple of games that they won in overtime, kept him in the playoff hunt until week 17. And so I think with his past performance, with the continuity in the system, with the stability he provides, and with the guys he's going to be throwing to, I think they're comfortable with him being the guy. I guess what I want to know is, if you can't protect Joe Burrow, are you going to protect Jake Browning? And is this the last time this season we're going to be talking about the Bengals having to go from one quarterback to another?
I know this will sound crazy because everybody is laying the blame right there with the offensive line. But does Joe Burrow deserve any blame for just not getting rid of the football quicker, given the state of affairs there with that line?
I think if you look at that individual play, I think the first thing you look at is the way that play was supposed to be run is Jamar Chase needs to get separation from the guy who's covering him. And if he does, Joe gets rid of it. It's a pass completion. Maybe he gets hit, but probably not. On that particular play, Jamar didn't get open, which is, you know, as you guys know, an outlier because of how good he is. But I don't know in that play what Joe was supposed to do. The pocket collapses almost immediately. Now, you know, the big discussion here is, well, do you need to tailor a system less around the way Joe wants to play, almost exclusively in the shotgun, and put him in situations where he's operating under center a little bit more, they're using play action a little bit more, they're running the ball a little bit more effectively? I think those are fair discussions. I mean, look, he's had 3 injuries now with them designing the offense around the way he wants to play. I think you're being irresponsible if you don't take a look back and go, okay, how can we operate our offense differently that best protects him? But I don't know on that play what Joe is supposed to do. The pocket is collapsing around him. You know, I've heard people say, well, his style gets him in trouble. His style there is just try to not get sacked. And, like, I've watched every snap that Joe has played in the NFL. I certainly have seen him get hit a lot. I've certainly seen him get sacked a lot. And I've certainly seen him escape trouble a lot. I've never at once thought he was playing recklessly. And I certainly don't think he was on Sunday. That said, I think it's on the franchise and Joe Burrow to figure out ways or think about ways moving forward that they can design an offense that better protects him while still bringing out the best in his abilities.
If you were the Browns, how soon would you start Dylan Gabriel?
Would have started him probably last week. I mean, I don't, if it's inevitable, then I don't know. And you have 2 quarterbacks that you've drafted, and you've got to figure out what each guy can do. I don't know what you're waiting for.
You have a problem with Tom Brady in the coach's booth?
I would if I was one of the coaches involved in the game he's calling, big time. I mean, I don't understand just, you know, this goes back to last year. I don't understand how you have an active NFL owner calling games. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know what you would do if somehow, some way, the Las Vegas Raiders ended up in a Super Bowl that Tom Brady is going to be calling. Like, I don't know how this is allowed. And if I was a coach or a player on another team and Tom Brady's doing my game and the NFL is going to make me sit in a production meeting, that would turn into a staring contest because I wouldn't say one word to him.
Mo Egger, ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati as the Bengals get set to go to Minnesota coming up at 1 p.m. on Sunday. Pittsburgh, ooh, bad Sunday for them. Let's see if they can get it going again as they go to Gillette at New England, 1 p.m. Sunday. Chris Muller, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. What the hell is wrong with that defense, Chris Muller?
Well, I mean, if you listen to the coach say it, it was a hot day. They had a guy who was sick. They've got a lot of new guys, so there's a communication component and a cohesiveness component. Oh, my God, blah, 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 blah. From Mike Tomlin the architect of all of this. That defense costs $158 million. Some of their players are looking old. Some of their players just don't look good. Could have told you that about Patrick Queen before you signed him. And the ones who are purportedly healthy are underperforming. It's just a bad defense, and they have no... Man, I'm not going to say this about football players, but in NFL terms, these guys look very easy to run against. The dreaded four-letter S word, not the one that gets you fired off the FC or in trouble with the FCC, but has an O and an F in the middle.
You're saying they're soft. You're saying they're soft without saying they're soft.
Like it. Ken, they look like it. I mean, Kenneth Walker, and when do you hear these kinds of excuses from Mike Tomlin? Kenneth Walker ran all over him. He ended up with over 100 yards. He became the first dude in NFL history to score on a running play on 3rd and goal from the 19 or further. That's one of those weird esoteric stats, but still, the Seahawks were trying to just get in position for a field goal, and Walker just traipsed into the end zone against them, and they just are getting blown off the ball. Did you see the highlight of Seattle's fullback, Robbie Oates, burying Peyton Wilson, who then got pancaked so bad he pancaked Patrick Queen? Like, it's one of those things that if John Madden was still alive, he would just have stopped the game and illustrated it like 15 straight times. But that's what's happening to them. And then just to hear the coach making all sorts of excuses for it is really beyond what I need to deal with at this point, 2 weeks into the season. They look like a not physical, not ready to stop anybody kind of defense.
Caleb Johnson, did he not know the rules? Do we blame the special teams coach? Do we blame Mike Tomlin? What happens here?
To me, you divvy this one up probably three ways. You have to assign blame. I mean, the head coach globally probably should get like 15 to 20% of the blame because it's his show. The special teams coach, I would say, gets another 20%, but I'm saving 60% for the player. I mean, what are you doing here? You're an NFL player. You are presumably coached on the rules. Your head coach is on the competition committee. As much as people make Mike out to be the boogeyman who is the source of all evils here in Pittsburgh, I'm pretty sure he does tell his players what the rules are. The other thing is, though, why is Caleb Johnson, a lumbering 225-pound running back who has shown no discernible wiggle at any point in his pro career, preseason or otherwise, returning kicks?
Lumbering?
Next, the Steelers will replace him with Darnell Washington on the kick return unit.
Chris Muller, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh.
Aaron Rodgers, is he done?
Quiet. Oh, well, never mind. Now you got to answer the question.
Quiet? Are you going to let him talk to you like that, Tone?
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was disrespectful.
Ken has a very bullying personality.
I'm not bullying.
We've been able to deal with that through the years.
Go to hell.
He threw a stapler once.
I didn't throw a stapler at anybody.
Ken has the personality of a man who owns a little yippy dog who gets mad at people.
He does have one of those.
He get your baby.
And not well potty trained at this
mini
point.
Poodle. Yeah, she poops in the closet.
Just like Najee Davenport, oddly enough.
Reckless speculation.
Yeah, is Aaron Rodgers used up?
No, I actually don't think he is. Did you see a couple of the throws he actually made in that game? This is the funny thing about it all.
I did. The
Freiermuth bomb
yes.
that Freiermuth dropped was 60 yards in the air on the run with a defender breathing down his neck, and the ball was in the bucket, and Freiermuth knew it. And that probably turns a drive that does end in a field goal because there was a defensive holding, probably turns it into a touchdown drive. He threw another one moving right to Freiermuth that Freiermuth caught for about 25 yards that looked like a dime. And the one that was an interception in the red zone that he was furious about, again, Freiermuth catches it if Calvin Austin doesn't run the wrong route and then deflect the ball and not try to catch it. So, like, the big-time throws, like the stuff that makes you go, oh, my God, that's still there with him. They have to figure out a way to make everything else around him better. But I have been, I don't want to say pleasantly surprised. I thought the arm would still be there, but, like, the competitiveness, the willingness to take hits, all that stuff, I've been pleasantly surprised through 2 weeks at how well-rounded the game has looked as long as they keep him upright.
How soon would you play Dylan Gabriel?
Now. Like right now.
Why?
Mo Egger gave a very good accounting of it. You're the Browns. I mean, no offense. What you're trying to figure out if either of these two guys you drafted has any kind of a future. I think that, the Joe Flacco experience is fun and all for everybody, but you're not really building any sort of plan for 2026 and beyond if you keep these guys on the bench. You got to start playing the guys and play the one that you drafted earlier than Shedeur Sanders. I just don't really understand what they're doing right now from a future planning standpoint. Just be honest with yourselves. You're not going anywhere this year. So start trying to make plans to figure out what you do got.
Real quick, do you have a problem with Tom Brady in the booth, the coach's booth?
Yeah, yes. I think Tom Brady, the player, is like the greatest competitor I've ever seen, still the greatest winner the NFL's ever seen. Tom Brady, the owner, the guy trying to double and triple dip and be in every bucket, I find very loathsome and very easy to dislike. And if I were one of those coaches for the Raiders, I would tell him either put on a headset and stop doing the broadcasting for Fox and become a coach on this team, or get the hell out.
Hold on, Chris. Tom Brady.
Tough talking, Chris Muller.
You see him as a broadcaster and owner. I see him as a rookie flag football Saudi Arabian player. That's what I see him as. I don't know what you're talking about.
The Raiders need to get out of that room, okay? Just get him out of there and let him go sit in the owner's box.
Chris Muller, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh, part of the great triumvirate that is around the AFC North. Bob Haney, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. Mo Egger, ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati. And, of course, Chris over there in Pittsburgh. All three said either now or last week about Dylan Gabriel. What am I waiting on? I'll tell you next on The Fan. Classic Chevy and Mentor, I know what I am.
This is Joe Checkeye for 92.3 The Fan.
Whenever you need to talk about the Browns, we got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
How soon would you play Dylan Gabriel if you were the Browns?
Against Green Bay, I'd get Gabriel in there as quickly as possible.
Would have started him probably last week. If it's inevitable and you have two quarterbacks that you've drafted and you've got to figure out what each guy can do, I don't know what you're waiting for.
Now, like right now.
Why?
You're the Browns. No offense. What you're trying to figure out if either of these two guys you drafted has any kind of a future. Be honest with yourselves. You're not going anywhere this year. So start trying to make plans to figure out what you do got.
We went around the AFC North. Bob Haney, Mo Egger, Chris Muller, all part of Around the AFC North. And all three guys, either last week, that was Mo Egger. He said he would have started him against the Ravens. And then the two others said they'd start him against Green Bay. All right, 216-474-0092. Are we wasting our time? Should we just start Dylan Gabriel now? I think it's... I wish I would have hosting a segment with each one of the three. I would have called them all irresponsible. Wow, you're agreeing with me.
Okay.
We're with each other too much. You either got to take a day off or I got to take a day off. You got to recalibrate yourself. Or I have actually, ladies and gentlemen, I have taught Lima football.
Ooh, you think you're rubbing off on me, the football guy?
No, he said enough stupid stuff over the last 2 weeks that you have not taught him.
But that's a very
absolutely not.
Not rushing a quarterback out there that isn't ready is a very, very, very important thing. He knows the important thing of it. The other stuff about this is an entertaining, I'm bored.
Well,
that sounds stupid.
And Lima and Cody Kessler, you're all on the same page.
Owen,
then.
you think it was stupid that I thought the NFL should retroactively?
That's what Cody Kessler said.
You thought it was stupid that I said the NFL should retroactively give the win to the Broncos like the next day? You
thought that was silly.
You thought that was dumb?
I think a lot of things you say are dumb, Anthony.
It's the NFL. It's not daddy ball. Well, we'll find out at 8:45.
So, Kenny, here's the one thing I will say to then divide us, since we agree on it, about why we think it would be irresponsible.
Divide and then Owen conquers.
If this situation were happening in any other market, I would be saying, why is that team starting Joe Flacco and not a guy they drafted? I would probably say that.
From the outset, right? He didn't lose you week one, right. Joe Flacco, right? But he couldn't win week two. He didn't do anything that goes and wins the game for you in week two.
Well, I had a guy arguing with me, and no disrespect to the guy, but I was like, no, he's not coming in and winning you this game.
Okay.
Dylan Gabriel's not winning you that game against the Baltimore. He ain't winning against the Green Bay Packers.
Of course not. The game would probably have been over in the second quarter.
But I think
if Gabriel were to start.
Everybody's saying is that he ain't winning any games anyway, so you might as well play him.
So I'll hear that argument. I heard Jake last night. He came back on the air. I don't think he had been there in a while. So he's like, hey, since I've talked to you last,
yes,
we've lost 2 games. He said, I've seen enough of Joe Flacco. Let's go. Let's move on. And I'm listening to him going, but what if the games were flipped? What if the Ravens game would have been the first week and the Bengals game would have been week 2? What would we be saying then? Is that all it was? Was that the Ravens game was the second game and it was more recent?
I'm following you. Yeah.
Now, unless you're saying the Ravens put together a game plan because they saw Joe Flacco's limitations in the opener, and now all the teams are going to copy that.
I just think they see the offense's limitations to begin with. I don't know if it's even Joe Flacco's limitations. Again, you got a better defense that you're playing against in Baltimore. The Bengals defense is not good.
What did the offense do on Sunday that was good? Was there anything?
Outside of garbage time?
Yeah.
No, not much.
I mean,
who's did who now?
The Browns offense, what did they do that was good on Sunday?
Nothing.
Maybe Quinshon Judkins. Maybe you can say that, but was it blocked correctly? I don't know.
We had a 30-yard run. That was half of the 61. Which, hey, I'll take a 30-yard run anytime. So
the game was over. It was a backup.
We're reaching. So yeah, and I just want to throw Dylan Gabriel out there. This is what I hate. See, this is again. It's Owen knows. Well, wait a minute. Do you just want to play Dylan Gabriel this week? Be a football guy. Don't be a host.
I mean, when you're looking at the schedule, I don't think you feed anybody to the Wolves.
But guys, I did say yesterday, if that game
the Wolves are here, guys.
If that game is one-sided at halftime, that's it. That's it. It's Dylan Gabriel, and he's got the team all week, right?
The guy you're feeding to the Wolves.
What do you think percentage chance is that it's going to be one-sided at halftime, Anthony?
50-50. No, you know what?
I do trust our defense.
Okay.
And they don't have their receivers.
They got injuries. I bet it's going to be some like 10-3 at half. Like something like that again.
Then you got to play Joe then.
Yeah. Like you said,
if you think it's going to be, 17-3 at half, you might as well just play Dylan Gabriel.
The term feeding to the wolves, you're feeding a guy to the wolves right now. It's Joe.
Right, but he at least knows how to defend himself against wolves.
Exactly.
I don't know that Dylan Gabriel has ever even seen
I don't know
wolves.
either. Like we're starting to walk ourselves into the same situation that we did, and we did this with Deshaun freaking Kaiser. Well, he's the best guy on the roster, so that means he's the most ready. The timeline is not Joe's timeline. So I know that Joe looked old and decrepit on Sunday. It's not Joe's timeline. It's Dylan's timeline. Like, guys, they know that they know they ain't going anywhere. So eventually, like, if they decide today that they're going to start Dylan Gabriel, I'm going to be very surprised, but I'm going to be very nervous because I want them to start Dylan Gabriel because they believe that he has a chance to at least move the offense. I can't even say win. They believe he has a chance to move the offense and that he is comfortable and confident enough to go now within their offense, within what they want to run. All those things, like there's plenty of guys who are confident in themselves and they go out there and they suck up the room. You got to trust them to be able to run your offense. And so if they believe that, I would say, well, where was it week 1? I mean, the difference of 2 weeks, maybe there is that big of a difference in 2 weeks. But man, I would feel that if they were to start him today, I'd be nervous of just going, okay, you guys just want to see what you got. Now you're going to throw this guy to the proverbial wolves. That's what you're going to do. Is he ready to make the decisions that are necessary to go out and win? Is he ready to go through the progression? Not in garbage time. I mean, from the first snap and moving through the football game, is he ready to do that? And I have to throw trust is a strong word, but I have to throw whatever trust I have into the hands of Kevin Stefanski of it going, you guys got to have the common sense to know that Joe in the future, he's barely the present, and that, Dylan Gabriel and then you-know-who will get their chance. Shador's you-know-who. I don't want to, because when we say you-know-who, people get confused with number 4. That ain't the guy. Eventually, Dylan Gabriel will get their chance. What I don't like about the answers is that, to me, like Bob Haney and Mo Egger and Chris Mull, they just want to be entertained. Joe Flacco ain't entertaining to them. And I think a lot of the people that were in my mentions on Sunday, and I think a lot of the people probably getting ready to call in to say, just start Dylan Gabriel now. I think you just want to be entertained instead of actually giving the guy a chance to go out there and play. You just want something different.
But isn't it true,
Joe's
Ken?
old and has no future. You're not entertained by that. Lima's just said the 2 games that they played, even though Owen and I disagreed, the 2 games that they played, Lima's called them both snoozers. I'm willing to bet most of the people listening agree with Anthony on that fact. So they just want to see someone different that's going to get them and stave them off from going out and doing yard work until 145. The problem is you're going to be doing yard work at 145 because he's going to go out there and maybe get his head taken off if he ain't ready to go. And I'm not convinced he's ready to go.
Isn't it true that this always goes quicker than you want to or plan to? And that includes, which includes the head coaches and the organization.
And I'm not. And by the way, what was our original timeline? Everybody said, well, 0-6, 0-6, 0-6, and then you play them in week 7. Well, it's looking like it's going to be sooner than that now, isn't it? So we're already bumping up the timeline, and there is a big, 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 bold line. It's not a fine line. It's a bold line between ready to go and what the hell. What the hell has gotten you? That's where Cody Kessler actually makes an argument. Because Cody Kessler wasn't ready to play. Cody Kessler would probably never be ready to play, but he never got a chance to develop. Deshaun Kaiser was dead in the water the minute they took him because they decided, what the hell? They went out there and played him, and now the guy who was behind all that now works for the Baltimore Ravens. What the hell in just playing guys has got you to the frustration and distrust and anger you have had with this franchise since 1999? That's what gets us to this point of cynicism. Take care of a quarterback. Do the right thing by him instead of operating like a fantasy team. And I'm not really even talking to the fans. I'm talking to the people over there in the building. This isn't fantasy. This is real life. What I say, let me use an example. What I say about the Bears. Like, I got into it with Nathan during the draft. I'm not sure about those offensive linemen. They go, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? They went out and they got they got DJ Moore. They got plenty of guys who are weapons. But usually, as we are seeing now, as our offensive line is looking older and not as good as it was, Usually you don't let go of your good offensive linemen, especially when we're at a dearth for quarterback play, and the second most important thing, or one of the most important things, maybe not the second to some people, is offensive line play. Used to be you plug in guys and play them. You can't do that anymore. And so you're holding on to these guys like grim death. So I'll use them as the example for this. I'm not going to just throw them out there. Well, we got to see what we got to see. No, that just means I want to be entertained.
Well, they did, and they
that
did
is
that.
Code language for I want to be entertained.
Look, I do think it's hard because they did that to DTR, and then that was it for DTR. DTR, as a prospect coming out of college, he had all the experience in the world, right? He's actually bigger than Dylan Gabriel. So, there's actually more, and actually Dylan Gabriel played for much more loaded teams than what DTR did. So you can make the argument DTR did way more with less than even Dylan Gabriel. Prospect-wise, kind of similar, right? Coming out of college, we do think one was overdrafted in Dylan Gabriel. Where was DTR drafted?
Should we...
Fourth round?
Fourth round, yeah.
That's probably where Dylan Gabriel should have been drafted. So we did throw DTR to the Wolves. We saw how that turned out.
Yeah. I don't know if... And by the way, I don't know if any of these guys would have ended up being great quarterbacks anyway. Yeah. More than likely not. But you didn't even give him a chance. Should we just play Dylan? Are we already there? Because we asked the AFC North, and they all said yes. I disagree. 216-474-0092. That and must watch Gardos tonight. Must watch Gardos tonight. 5 minutes on the Fan.
It's Anthony Lima for Fanatic Sports.
Andy Baskin for Choice Cabinets. 60 to 70% off retail. That's why I love them. And now more opportunity for you at 4856 Richmond Road. They've expanded their store. Go check it out. Choice Cabinets, choicecabinet.com.
You'll hear the latest from Browns practice as it happens. Baskin and Phelps, weekdays at 10, 92.3 The Fan.
Must watch Gardos tonight? Has to happen.
Of course.
Has to happen. Must watch Gardos. Gavin Williams on the hill, and then they're treating all this like a playoff series. Gavin Williams pitching tonight. Tanner Bybee pitching tomorrow against Tarek Skubal, where he's feeling better. You're 5.5 back right now in the AL Central. You need to win you would need to win 5 of 6. Owen, is that correct?
At least, yeah. I mean,
at least 5.
If you only go 4-2 against them, it only gives you a 2-game jump. 5-1 gives you a 4-game jump. 6-0 obviously gives you a 6-game jump.
Okay.
Well, think about last night too. 11 pitchers in that game, extra innings. It felt like a game that both teams desperately wanted, because the Tigers are 100% feeling the nerves. They thought they had this thing wrapped up. I think everybody thought they had it wrapped up way back in July.
You look at the rest of the Tigers schedule. They finish with us. They got 2 more with us. Then they get the Braves, which might be a reprieve for them, but the Braves still hit the ball. They don't win as many games as they should. And then they're in Cleveland for 3, and they finish with Boston, who is right there with Cleveland in the wild card. So those are all meaningful games for the Tigers as well.
I would like to apply pressure because of the previous history between these two teams. I thought last year, I thought that the Tigers were an afterthought at the All-Star break. I think a lot of people did. I mean, they moved players, and then they came from behind like crazy. They were a thorn in our side. We were able to put them away thanks to Lane Thomas, thanks to some great performances. And now the shoe's kind of on the other foot. And A.J. Hinch was asked in the postgame yesterday if there is pressure on the Tigers to not blow the AL Central lead to the Gardos.
It's incredible coming to the ballpark with this opportunity. So if you see it as pressure, I bet it feels daunting. Like you describe it as that's daunting. Like we don't have that. We feel a ton of excitement coming to the ballpark. We're going to keep trying to chip away at the win total. I don't see it as pressure.
At 5.5, I would agree with him. If you get it down to 2, I think a lot of guys in the clubhouse would probably disagree with him.
Well, they have to look at it the same way as I've been looking, that we have the opportunity of came in 6.5 down with 6 games left. They have to be looking at it as win two of these games and you push the Guardians out of this, right? So they don't have to win the majority of the games against the Guardians. They just have to get 1 or 2 wins. If they get 1 or 2, they should be feeling pretty good about winning the division. They don't have to worry about it. The Guardians have the pressure because the Guardians not only are looking division-wise, they've got 3 teams in the wild card race that they're paying attention to. And, well, I shouldn't say paying attention to. That can affect them, right? And so Vogt just has to pay attention to his team, and he has to do what he did last night, which was win every game that's in front of you. He has to try to win every game that's in front of him until there's a point, in the 7th or 8th inning where it's a 4-run game, and then maybe you go, all right, we'll just try again tomorrow. But you're running out of those days.
My first thought was the 2007 Mets when Willie Randolph was the manager. They had a 7-game lead on September 12th and ended up losing 12 of their last 17 games, and they missed the postseason. That was my first thought that I had. It would be, for them, it would be a monumental collapse. Now, again, you're still 5.5 up, so you don't go nuts right now. He's a manager. You're not going to do that, but it would be a huge come from behind, and that's why, again, great season if they were to make the postseason, the Guardians. We got Jeremy Fowler joining us at 9 o'clock. Was Kenny Pickett Kevin Stefanski's guy? And if he really was, then why is Kenny Pickett not playing here? He was shipped to the Raiders. Why would Kenny Pickett not be here? Where I'm at a crossroads right now. There's a lot of fans going, yeah, Ken, I just want to be entertained. I don't think this team's going anywhere. I think this front office is bad. I think this coaching staff's bad, and I just want to be entertained. And I go, boy, we're in a dark place right now with the Browns, are we not? Because I'm like, if you want to put Dylan Gabriel out there, then you just want to be entertained. And I mean that as a shot at you. And folks are, guilty as charged. Just go put him out there. I want to be entertained. I don't think
Kenny,
you're going to be entertained for very long, though, if you put him out there before he's ready.
Yeah, I think so, too. But this is where the schedule, I think, has so much to do with it. What if those games in week 7, 8, 9, where it looks like it softens up with, Miami Dolphins? I won't count. I mean, Pittsburgh on the road, they never win in Pittsburgh. It's been, 2 decades plus that they've been able to pull that off in a regular season game.
They did one time.
They did one in the playoffs.
Right.
I do wonder if the schedule was inverted, would Gabriel have had a chance earlier?
You have to ask Tom Cruise about that.
Because this is where the schedule does change things up.
Oh, it's smiling. He might have, but I don't. You guys are going to want to go lily pad to lily pad. If you start him now, I assume he's not ready to start now. I'd be shocked if Kevin Stefanski's like, we're going to start Dylan Gabriel. I would think that he's not going to play well on Sunday. And if he does that, then you're just going to call in next week one to start Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
That's if
Gabriel was starting, what do you think the line would be this week? It'd be 14.
12, 12, like somewhere in there. It's already at 8.5, right?
I've seen 9.5. I've seen 8.5. Yeah,
it's moving. 8.5 or 9.5,
and you're only getting that because you're the home team.
So if you want to just be entertained, I think you have to go by what's entertainment. I don't think you can really expect hope if Dylan Gabriel were to start this week. You would expect something miraculous, or you would hope for something miraculous. There's a difference in real entertainment. Like, I can go out there and start to do parlor tricks. That's only going to be entertaining for a while. Until you're like, all right, let's move on to the next thing. I want to see somebody who's going to give us a chance to get excited. And I want to give him proper time to get ready. If you're starting him now, then I would have made the argument, well, now you're just throwing him out there. You might as well have just done it week 1. And we could always do the same old sorry-ass Brown stuff that we've done in the past. At least give him an opportunity to see the field. Like, it was garbage time. I'm not making a reason to start him ever because of the garbage time. Opportunities to play are opportunities to play. He still saw it in an NFL game, in a real NFL game that guys are getting paid for. So it's still going to be valuable experience. Eventually he'll play, but he's got to meet the requirement to take care of his football team. Let's go to the phones. D in Cleveland. Yellow D.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, D.
Hey, listen, I think the Browns should be setting the rookies for a year. Listen, great teams like Green Bay set 3 quarterbacks that are great for 1 year, and then they let them play. I understand the circumstances. If you're getting blown out or something, then you let them play to get the experience. But listen, great teams don't force them. You're not going to force the game on them. You got to let them catch up to the game, not the game catch up to them.
Well, I don't want to make that a rule either, D. I don't want to start him too soon, but I don't want to not play him at all. And thank you very much for the call, because I think you're going to take a quarterback high next year, which I put out the names of guys that I'm thinking about, and everybody's just saying how bad they all are. Well, you're going to have to pick one of them, guys. I'm sorry. You're going to have to go to the dance with one of them, because they ain't just going to wait another year. So I know that everybody wants Caleb Downs. Well, you're probably going to get him with the second pick if you're going to get him with the second pick that you got. I would like to see where they're at some point, and if they're not going to play at all this year, I just assume that none of them are really ready to go. But I don't see a world where Joe Flacco trots out there for 17 games this year. I don't know if he would make it. 216-474-0092. All right, I want to get to Jeremy Fowler coming up next. If you're there, stay there. We'll get back to this coming up a little bit later on. Also, 9:25, right around there. We'll see what Jeremy says to us, but I got a plan right now. It's an embarrassment to the NFL, and it needs to stop right now. But Jeremy Fowler, was Kenny Pickett Kevin Stefanski's guy? And if he was, then why did they trade him? How does a two-time coach of the year have that little power? I need to ask Jeremy Fowler about that coming up at 9:01 on The Fan.
Anthony Lima for Mentality Health. And if you're feeling like you lost your edge, gentlemen, if your energy, focus, or drive isn't where it needs to be, Mentality Health can come in and help you out because they're the local experts in testosterone replacement therapy. And unlike those
10:55, we'll hear from head coach Kevin Stefanski live right here on 92.3 The Fan. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Headline sports news every 20 minutes from the University Hospital's Sports Desk. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Jeremy Fowler in moments, but first, Lima, tell him you have a sheet right in front of you. Tell them he didn't hear you, and now he doesn't know.
Oh, he took it
there
out
is
of
the
my
sheet.
hand.
There it is.
We do have an opportunity for you to be a winner right now. Enter the word season at 923thefan.com before 10 a.m. Your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Cavs take on the Bulls. Preseason action. Tuesday, October 7th at 7 p.m. Rocket Arena. Tickets on sale now. Cavs.com/tickets.
Who ordered the code red of trading Kenny Pickett? Jeremy Fowler joins us right now. ESPN. Now, there's plenty of other things we need to get into. He's on the Fan Hotline. Jeremy, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
From the people you talked to, how soon could Dylan Gabriel start for this Browns football team? He played a little bit on Sunday in garbage time, but how soon could he start for this team?
Well, I don't sense like a major urgency to have to get Gabriel in the game right now as a starter, but it's a fluid situation like a lot of these are. You saw it last year with the Patriots and, Jacoby Brissett and him getting benched for Drake May. Like any bridge quarterback that's a bridge to a rookie draft pick, you have to win games to hold them off. If you don't win games, they're typically going to move on and see what the younger guy can do, and it's a nod to the future, and you go from there. But I don't sense that they're there yet. They feel like Flacco played pretty well week one. I know week two didn't go so well against the better team, a better defense, but they feel pretty good overall about where Flacco's at. And, they're trying not to totally rush this thing is my understanding, but it gets to a point in this league where it's week to week and you have to try to win. And I think Gabriel's mobility eventually will help him get in the lineup.
Jeremy Fowler joining us here on the Fan Hotline. All right, I kept asking the question, and it because it's been brought up here this week after the Ravens game. Kenny Pickett, he was the first quarterback in the QB room this offseason. Then he gets traded for the 5th-round pick with the Raiders. First question is, was he Kevin Stefanski's guy? And then the second question I have to ask is, if he was Kenny Pickett, why would they trade him when Kevin is the 2-time coach of the year, and some people believe he might be fighting for his job by the end of the year?
Well, I don't know specifically if Kenny was Kevin's guy. I know that they thought he was good value at the time for a 5th-round pick. Like a lot of their off-season quarterback outlook had not developed yet at that time. They hadn't drafted anybody yet, so Kenny was considered good value, and at the very least gave him a baseline option that they can go out with and know that he can run the offense functionally and he can move around a little bit. He's a mobile guy, and it's a quarterback that they did like, yes, but really all along, well, I wouldn't say all along, but like coming out of the draft, I still remember hearing from some people with the Browns that like, hey, look, they got 4 quarterbacks now. They could certainly trade one. Like that's an option that they could exhaust. That was sort of the feeling I would say around the league. And then, Andrew Berry said like, hey, we're open to keeping 4 quarterbacks. And it did appear that was an option at one point. But I still go back to kind of what I was hearing in early May, which was like, they're going to trade one of these guys. And Kenny had value. Joe was kind of clearly the starter at that point. They had 2 rookies to develop. It just made sense to move on from him at that point. I don't think it was like, wow, this was Kevin's guy, and then now we're, moving him away from the team, and Kevin lost his soulmate. Like, I don't think it was that at all. This is a value-based league, and Kenny still had value for a team like the Raiders that needed a backup.
All right, Jeremy Fowler joining us on the hotline, giving us his excellent insights into this situation. Does the schedule matter? Sometimes around the league, you look at the schedules, the Browns start with a brutal one. Had it have been much softer earlier, do you think that could have changed anything?
Change anything as far as who they would have started or how they would have started?
Or how quickly they would be open to moving on?
That's a good question. I don't know. Really, when you look at the schedules, I do think the media makes more of the schedule than the teams because there's so much parity now. Like, there are probably 20 good teams. So every week is going to be tough unless you're playing one of the bottom feeders. I feel like it's 16 to 20 teams can win anywhere from 8 to 13 games, and then the other 12 are going to be pretty bad. That's kind of how it's been or how it feels like. And so most weeks you're going to have one of those tough teams. Like the fact that Cleveland opened with 2 playoff teams or teams that are playoff caliber, like I don't think that affects the thinking all that much, just in my experience. It just was clear all along in camp that Joe Flacco was going to be the starter. I don't think there was any doubt. You know, and I talked to people over there, it just felt like he was a cut above, and he knows how to run Kevin's system. I thought he showed a little more mobility than maybe I thought week 1. I know that didn't work out week 2 against the defense that was kind of living in the backfield and all over him, but I don't sense there's any sort of strategy in that regard with the schedule. I think it was more just like, I do think they legitimately wanted that quarterback battle to play out organically, just by the way they were running it, where you had 4 guys getting reps on dual fields, and they wanted to just see how it went. Like the time I visited their training camp in late July, it was clear that like they were trying to get guys as many throws as possible, all 4 of them, and just kind of duel it out that way. It was actually pretty unique compared to a lot of camps I go to where third stringers, fourth stringers don't get a lot of reps. So, you know, I don't think there was a plot strategically about the schedule or about how things had to go a certain way. I think they just wanted to see it play out, knowing that Joe was probably the favorite all along.
Jeremy Fowler joining us from ESPN. Adam Schefter had that report before the game started on Sunday about the Ravens having plans to draft Shedeur Sanders, Shedeur rebuffing them. Did you get the same sense that he wanted to be a starter, so he didn't really want to go to Baltimore?
Well, I don't know if it was specific to Baltimore. I think it was more about, well, look, this is a quarterback that thought he was going to be drafted much higher, and as a result, wanted to go to a place where he feels like he can play. But I think in the micro, that story speaks to some of the issues Shedeur had with the process. You know, like I know I talked to one team in particular that interviewed Shedeur, that looked at him pretty hard, that was drafting a quarterback, and, you know, he would ask questions in those meetings such as, like, well, what kind of weapons are you going to put around me? Instead of, like, focusing on the film that they're breaking down in the pre-draft interview. You know, like, he was thinking in terms of, like, what situation am I going to be in, as opposed to, you know, how can I impress with my knowledge in this particular meeting? So not that he was, with these teams I talked to, like, you know, difficult or came off as a bad personality or anything like that. There was probably a little bit of a nod to a self-serving part of the draft, which, you know, he thought he was going to go much higher, so that's sort of understandable on some levels. So I don't know if I was overly surprised by that story when I saw it. You know, and plus on day 3, there's a lot of time that teams have to think about what happened the day before, and you're sort of taking chances on players that maybe you normally wouldn't. 4th, 5th round, you know, if you're the Ravens, you might be thinking, hey, Shedeur's great value, so let's make a call to either him or his representative or Dion and try to feel that situation out. You know, and look, if I'm Shedeur, I mean, you could argue Baltimore would be a great situation to go to because you're going to a great team, you're learning from Lamar Jackson, maybe you get to play at some point or go somewhere else to play. But, you know, he's a 2-time MVP, so it's like if you had a pick, you'd probably rather go elsewhere if you're trying to play early. I do understand from his standpoint why he would want that.
I love having Jeremy Fowler on with us because he'll level with us, so we'll just get right to it. Will Deshaun Watson factor into this conversation at all this year, or should we as a show stop talking about him?
You know, I'll never say never. I don't get the sense that he's been in the plans this year. Plus, he's got a long way to go. I do think he's progressing nicely, and he's been throwing for a while now, I know. He's been getting after it. Like I remember even the day I was there in Cleveland for training camp, he was throwing around a ton of weight in the background in that weight room that's adjacent to the practice fields. Like he was getting after it. He was also visible, which with a big crowd wasn't necessarily a surprise to me, but he was in there working hard. I've heard nothing but good things about how he's approached the rehab, how he's helped the other quarterbacks in the quarterback room. He has been a total team guy. He hasn't been a drag. He's been a positive influence on the other quarterbacks, from my understanding. The camaraderie's been good. So I'll never totally take it off the table, but I think based on all that's happened, and I do think about the insurance policy that the team does have on Deshaun and some of the cap savings that could be involved, and could that be jeopardized if you put him back out there? I cannot speak for the team, but I do think about that. And if I had to make an educated guess, I would think that that is a factor in all this. So there's a lot at play. It would be at least a mild surprise to me if he played this year.
Well, it's just there's been some reporting out there that, the Browns really want this to be a stand on the sidelines, learn the game year for Shedeur. And if that is the case and we get into one of those emergency situations, there is somebody who's still getting paid a lot of money. And look, they took his signage down all over the stadium. Jeremy, there's no real visible signs of Deshaun Watson in a lot of their engagement. They did wish him a nice happy birthday over the weekend on social media. So that's why I wanted to know. He also, got to say, Jimmy Haslam, the owner, attended his wedding over the offseason. So it doesn't seem like there's any bad blood between the two sides.
No, I don't think so. I do go back to what Jimmy Haslam said in the offseason about essentially admitting the mistake that was signing and Deshaun and trading for him. And, that was a pretty bold statement. I think that was his way of letting the team move on, and him sort of shouldering the blame for that. Whether he plays there or not, again, at least it provides a collective exhale, I think. That's not necessarily a knock on Deshaun, but it's just a way for everybody to, regroup. After 3 years, it just didn't go the way anybody planned. So, and it was quite the journey. I mean, I know the play was not good, but it's unfortunate with the injury timing because he had some windows there, or at least a few games, especially in that second year where it's like, okay, he's turning the corner a little bit. Then injuries happen, and then he comes back. The play wasn't good. They tried to tailor the offense around them and got Ken Dorsey involved. It's just like the whole thing never came together. So I think because of that, it'd be hard to see him playing this year. But, to your point, and when I talk to Browns people about this, they insist that he's been a very hard worker and he's been great to deal with. I don't think he's been a problem behind the scenes at all, and I think the relations are good. It just didn't work out.
Jeremy Fowler joining us here on the show. Tone, you wanted to ask about Tom Brady before I ask my question.
Right now there seems to be some angst around the league as people are starting to notice. Yeah, the guy who's broadcasting games and can get into any type of meeting, talk to coaches around the league. He's also now sitting in the coach's box on Monday night. The NFL said this is okay. What are you hearing from people?
Well, they're saying it's okay because they had cleared this before. I mean, ownership allowed it with, a vote that you have to get a majority on, 24-8, at least among the 32 owners. And this has been approved already, so they're not going to go back on that. And, if you're a minority owner, you're allowed to sit in the box. There are some stipulations to all this. I don't have it all in front of me, but I know that teams, I could see them being a little skeptical of telling Tom Brady specific intel in a pre-production meeting. I could see that being an issue, and that's probably a theme that's not going away anytime soon. And so, the Raiders they're walking sort of a difficult line, at least from Pete Carroll's standpoint, where you have to answer questions about it, and you have to make sure that, Brady's not too involved, but also he's a minority owner that can probably help the team and is a good resource in a lot of ways, and that's allowed because of what's been approved and his role in the team. So, and look, make no mistake, I mean, he's been involved, or at least when you talk to people around the league, they believe he's been firmly involved in a lot of the decisions there. Certainly the GM and the head coach are making those, but Mark Davis structured this to he wants Tom Brady a part of the process. So at the very least, he is that.
Jeremy Fowler joining us from ESPN. How stable is the footing for Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry in their jobs right now?
Well, it's week 3, and I don't think that anybody around the league expected them to be 2-0 right now. So with 2 tough AFC North teams, I thought the offense was better than I expected week 1, and then week 2, didn't go as well, but at least they did run the ball and had some promise with guys like Quinshon Judkins. And yeah, I don't think it's an issue right now. I just don't. There are other teams around the league I think it's a little stronger. I feel like Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski are well supported there. They made the trade in the draft with multiple years in mind. That was made very clear to me. So, it wasn't a panic move. I think if they had to win now or win the first 8 games of this year or else, then they would have made a different draft move. That's my opinion, just based on kind of asking around and kind of knowing what I know about that draft process. So, I'd be surprised if anything happens in the short term, but you have to win in this league. And so, the team's sitting at a really ugly spot in November or whenever it is. Like, I'll never take anything off the table. I just don't sense a lot of urgency to make something happen right now, as opposed to the pressure that's around, say, Miami right now, or maybe some other hot spots.
Jeremy, how bad do the Browns look with Baker Mayfield playing the way he has through 2 games following up his playoff season a year ago?
Well, Baker's been playing well for 2.5 years now, so this is really nothing new. I mean, I know it's convenient, and he played on Monday Night Football at a come-from-behind victory, and those are always bigger stages, those primetime games. But, he's been balling. He's been a top 10 quarterback for more than a year. Tampa hit that one out of the park by signing him to a 1-year, $5 million deal, or whatever it was, 2 years ago. And then they extended him to what's now a incredible bargain. I think he's at $30-something million a year when, guys like Dak Prescott are making 60. So, I mean, the Baker divorce I'll never quite understand. For whatever reason, they just got to a point where they were not hitting it off. I do think Baker has matured a lot, and he's been humbled, and that is part of it, And so it didn't always go so well in Cleveland, and there was some friction there. So it's like, I think the team felt like there was a ceiling that Baker had in Cleveland. But, the people, the scouts, and those who evaluated Baker and always loved him, they saw things that have translated in Tampa, which he's super accurate, super competitive, fierce competitor, will get after it, can make difficult throws, and is really tough. So all that's played out, we can go through the revisionist history for an hour if we wanted to, but the truth is that several teams were trying to trade for Deshaun Watson, who, before he sat out that year in Houston, was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And I will say things have changed a little bit, I feel like, with the haves and the have-nots of the quarterback, sort of outlook league-wide, where at that time, 4 or 5 years ago, or when teams were evaluating quarterbacks, it's like, if you don't have a top 10 guy, you have no chance. That was sort of the feeling. And I do think that now it's a little different. You got Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones now. Carson Wentz is about to play in Minnesota. Teams are now realizing that these really talented former top 10 picks, sometimes they just need a reset. They need a better environment. I don't know that Baker would have been ultra successful if he stayed in Cleveland. It just got to a point where it was a difficult relationship. Sometimes that happens. You got Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis. He's really talented. I think he can go somewhere else in a year or two and have success. So it's that recycled nature of the quarterback position is sometimes needed for both parties.
At J Fowler, ESPN on Twitter. Jeremy Fowler, ESPN. Jeremy, go enjoy the doggos, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Jeremy Fowler on the Fan Hotline. That was interesting there at the end with Baker Mayfield.
Look, I've been wondering a lot. We all know how bad Baker was in Carolina. Had he have been with the Browns that year instead of Carolina, would they still have moved on from him? Or would he still be the quarterback today?
What Baker and Bill Belichick have in common, in 5 on the Fan.
92.3 The Fan.
This is the radio home of the Cleveland Browns. 92.3 The Fan.
You got Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones now. Carson Wentz is about to play in Minnesota. Like, teams are now realizing that these really talented former top 10 picks, sometimes they just need a reset. They need a better environment. I don't know that Baker would have been also successful if he stayed in Cleveland. Like, it just got to a point where it was a difficult relationship. Sometimes that happens. It's that recycled nature of the quarterback position is sometimes needed for both parties.
Whoa! Oh, come on. Don't just go through the motions over there. Do it like you mean it.
Well, we're getting a lot of feedback on what would have happened on social media. One says if the Browns played out Baker's fifth year, he would have been mediocre, but better than in 2022, and they wouldn't have given him a big contract, just the franchise.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. I think they were so desperate for an upgrade. And Jeremy Fowler, I think, again, this is where the national media, he's divorced from the emotion. He's not in the bubble. He didn't have to go to war with the Baker bros or the haters of Baker every day. He didn't have to worry about that.
You made a lot of people mad with that.
He came on. Jeremy Fowler just said like it was a different time. And even though it wasn't that long ago, it seems like it was, because if you didn't have Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, it felt hopeless. Because Baker was not in that stratosphere.
No.
Nobody could deny that.
And now, see, that's why it's like, man, if you could have just stuck it out a little bit longer, maybe things would have been better. I think, Jeremy Fowler, I think, makes a great point. Like, he wasn't playing well. When you made that, you sounded so great when you said, go back and listen, 923thefan.com and on the free Odyssey app. Go back to 620 or 640? When the whole 40 minutes, when Lima had said, like, basically, oh, yeah, he beat Pittsburgh, and they just shoved him out the door. Like, that's the way we make it out to be. And it's not that way. It's not that case. He was playing, Owen had brought it up, I forgot. He was playing defensive end on scout team.
I saw the picture.
For the Carolina Panthers.
Holy cow, I totally forgot about that.
I remember, watching that, and I remember, when Kenny was with us. Kenny was a total Baker fan. It's like, yeah, I still like the Browns a bit, but I'm a Baker guy. And God bless Kenny. We love Kenny. I remember being like Talladega Nights. You remember who's the French guy in Talladega Nights? And when Ricky Bobby looks like he's Spanish, he's like, au revoir, Ricky Bobby. Au revoir. I watched that video of Baker playing defensive end, and I'm just like, bye. Another one bites the dust. We'll see you, bud. Wish it could have worked out here. It didn't. However, let me say this. Anything that we could imagine was better than this. Anything. Guys, I got audio for you at 9:45. You think everything's going to be fixed coming up next April. There's somebody who's already thinking completely different, and a person we've had on the air that we trust and respect who already thinks it's going to be completely different. Anything would have been better. If he would have never, ever played like he is now, if he would have just hit the bleeps, it would have been better than this. Deshaun Watson would have been someone else's problem. We'd be making fun of the Atlanta Falcons right now. Arthur Blank, look what you've done. Look what you've done again. Enjoy that contract, Art. Enjoy that, buddy boy. They would have had Michael Penix. Maybe we'd have Michael. But I don't know what it would have been. It would have been better than this. I cannot imagine a scenario that would be worse than this. That's the problem. Is you didn't just play it out badly. You have the worst possible scenario. I got a coach that I like personally that everybody can't stand, and nobody wants me to say anything nice about him, even personally. I got a general manager who, again, I like personally. I can't defend either one of the guys for what they've done. The only thing I've ever been able to do here over these first couple of weeks for Kevin Stefanski is make excuses based on the past. That's not a reason to hold on. That's not a reason. I can't make excuses and just say you should keep your job in perpetuity. Same thing with Andrew Berry. I can't do it for either one of those guys. They openly dislike a guy that you've paid the most money you've ever paid to. They don't want to see him. They shudder at the thought of him playing. They turn off the station when we talk about him possibly playing. I mean, look at what the situation we're in. It's that ugly. It's that bad. And I said before the break, I asked, what do Baker Mayfield and Bill Belichick have in common? They will always be connected for future success and the Browns letting go of them. Because you are right. Except in Bill's case, he actually got let go by a different team, not by us. We technically, absolutely, did let go of Baker Mayfield. But when people are going, you ran him out of town, you did this, you did that, I go, I didn't run him out of anywhere. If I would have been trying, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. If I would have been trying to run Baker Mayfield out of town in September of 2021, for all I know, Jimmy might have called me and told me to stuff it. We've been down this road many times.
Yeah, Jimmy loved Baker.
He loved
Baker, obviously.
But the case of the matter is I got a team in Carolina who is still on a rocky road with Bryce Young. You had him there. I have a team with the LA Rams who's certainly much more respected than what the Browns and the Panthers are because of Sean McVay and because of Les Snead. They had a chance to hold on to Baker. It's just that you had Matt Stafford be playing too long.
So
I think they might have wanted it, but they let them both go. I didn't get them run out of either town. Go ahead.
These people locally who are saying this and apparently have completely forgotten all the stuff that happened, all the behind-the-scenes stuff, the stuff that, we talked about. Myles Garrett wasn't too thrilled with him. Baker, let's not lie. Baker rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. We're just going to act like he had 100% approval rating. That was not the case.
Nope.
He was somebody,
Nope.
he told it like it was
Nope.
at times. That was great at times. But there were also times where he had to be a little more sensitive to situations. And when he went downhill, then it caused a lot of issues because you're looking around going, man, we only have this window. And look where we are now. The window we've already lost. Nick Chubb's gone, right? He hasn't been himself in 3 years. So it's not like the Nick Chubb dominant running back would have still been a part of the Baker experience. Like, you only have so many years, and they tried to upgrade. What do you guys love about Jimmy Haslam? He wants to win. He didn't want to move on from Baker Mayfield.
No, he didn't.
But he was looking at Cincinnati at the time. He was looking at Baltimore, Pittsburgh. He was looking at, even though Baker had beat him in a playoff game, but then what happened the following year? Like, he was looking at all these situations in the AFC and saying, all right, Baker at his best, borderline top 10, even though some of the analytics were very against him being that high, but he was probably thinking he's coming off a big injury. We have to think about what else is out there. And I'm sure Baker didn't exactly make it smooth behind the scenes. But how many more times does Baker need to tell you how much he's grown up? So if your assumption is he would have grown up in Cleveland, maybe it's just something we'll never know. And guys like Sam Darnold would say, I needed to leave.
But I'm going to tell you what.
Maybe Daniel Jones would say, I needed to leave. How many more quarterbacks? Sometimes you need a change of setting.
And I can guarantee you guys right now, I hope this scenario never plays out, but I'm going to probably overcorrect. So when they draft and they will, when they draft somebody this coming April, I'm going to be using the Baker stuff constantly. And if that kid
that
goes
could be
out,
a mistake too.
That's what I'm saying.
That could be Kenny Pickett.
If that kid goes out there and he sucks up the room, you think you've disagreed with me before? You are going to really disagree with me now because I'm going to have the ghosts of.
Sure.
I mean, not Cody Kessler or any of that other crap that we talked about earlier. But Baker Mayfield's ghost is going to be right in my head.
Yeah,
in my head.
Will they overcorrect? Will they stick with a guy far too long? Because that's kind of what they've done with the coach and the GM. They've overcorrected. You're in year 6. There's no winning in sight.
Like, I'll tell you right now, I was texting with Ryan Wilson yesterday. I shouldn't be telling you guys about this. I'm texting with Ryan Wilson yesterday about it because, I'm listening to him and Rand Carthon, former general manager, and they're talking about the quarterbacks and stuff. And, he knows that he saw it a couple weeks ago or last week when I said, I really like John Mateer. I said, I'm already so scarred by all this that I'm already mentally preparing myself for if they were to take John Mateer, who when you watch him play, and you can see him against Auburn this coming weekend, I think it's a 3:30 kickoff time. That should be a good game. I already have mentally scarred myself, and I'm already mentally prepared for the Temu Baker Mayfield memes if he goes out there and struggles with the Browns. That's where I'm at. I'm that emotionally drained by a lot of it. And it scares me because I've said it before. There's so many media guys here that have just built up a negative callus where everything is just negative because they don't want to get their hopes up again. Now, Lima, you were like that as a kid, so you get it naturally. You get it honestly. But the other ones, it's a different story. And I don't want to be that way. But yeah, I'll definitely overcorrect, and you'll have to fight me on it because hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully whoever they draft ends up being great. But that's where I stand on that, because I'm telling you right now, I'm going to definitely overcorrect because of all this. I don't ever want to do this again, because this is just awful. Awful. Even worse than we could have imagined. By the way, if you think everything is going to be just fixed this coming spring, I got something you got to hear. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, a very trusted name, pouring some cold water on one situation, coming up in 5 minutes on The Fan. Peter & Company Jewelers at Avon Lake, peterjewelers.com. The time to save.
rates. eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Miss one day and you miss a lot. We are the radio home of the Cleveland Browns.
Here we go, Brownies! Here we go!
92.3 The Fan.
Must win Gardos.
Yes, here we go.
Yeah, gotta get it done.
Putting the pressure.
Obviously.
We didn't even talk about Quan's. He had 2 incredible throws yesterday.
Talk about it then. Talk about it. You got a radio show
one
too.
That led to.
Say it with your chest.
He helped gun someone down, and then on another one, limited the damage to just a single. So he has been awesome. Awesome. Doing the little things, Kenny. And that's what this team is doing. A bunch of the little things to help them put the pressure on Detroit. Can Detroit handle the pressure?
You don't know your ass from a hole in the ground about baseball either.
Can they?
Doing the little things.
Can they?
I'm messing with you. What do you mean? Yeah, of course they can. I mean, it would be one of the historical collapses in professional baseball. But yeah, it would certainly be. It would certainly be a big deal. Certainly be a big deal. 216-474-0092. Because I went back to the 2007 Mets. Again, third reference, final reference. That's all I'm mentioning now. You want to talk about Arch Manning at some point tomorrow?
Sure.
How things are getting not very good.
Yeah, he hasn't been good at all.
Yeah, it hadn't been very good. So I've left him off the list. I didn't think he was going to come out in the draft this coming year. So when I make my list of, and part of it's entertainment. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. Like when I have the list of guys that are, hey, I'm looking at them. It's been Garrett, and it's been in order. Garrett, Lenoris, Mateer, Fernando Mendoza, Aiden Childs. Some people tell me are looking at. No, Carson Beck is not on there. At least not yet. Not Carson Beck yet. He's got to do a lot more. I didn't trust him at Georgia. I'm not trusting him right now. Need more. Damn it. And I'm not mentioning you-know-who until at least November 1st.
Hey, right now, nobody's on the list the way these guys have played.
Well, I think Emery Hunt agrees with you. He was on the Ross Tucker podcast, and if you think everything's just going to get all fixed up, as I pause, if you think everything's going to get all fixed up, buddy, you got another thing coming.
Shador and Cam Ward are far and above better than whoever the top quarterback would be in this class. The second part of it is that you can see how groupthink permeates throughout the rest of the narrative in the media landscape because you have people that get hung on these names, right? Nussmeier, Aller, you talk about Klubnik, and you talk about Arch Manning, right? Arch Manning was number 1 with a bullet in everybody's mock draft, right? Based on 95 passes. But that kind of focused everybody's attention on just those names. And everybody's just kind of recycling the same 5 names. If everybody just zoomed out and did what they were supposed to do and just evaluated the whole class, you'd see the Taylor Green. You'd see the Haynes King. They're the same guy. They're playing the same doggone game.
That's Emery Hunt on Ross Tucker's podcast, Ross Tucker Football Show. I mean, that's some strong statements there by Emery Hunt. I agree with him about the groupthink thing.
So we just have 2 straight years of bad quarterbacks?
No.
Like I don't.
One of them's about to be good. One of them's bound to be good.
I can guarantee somebody from this class will be good in the NFL.
Yes.
Would be really good.
Yes.
It's a little silly.
You are right.
That I'm hearing from a lot of people, which is stay away from all quarterbacks in this class.
Hold on. Emery's saying you got one right there already in your locker room here. I'm not going to call Emery silly. He's been on the show. Good man. I'm not saying that Emery's silly on this. I just the only part I'm going to agree with you on is that out of this group of guys that I just rattled off the top of my head, that I think a lot of people have only watched Arch Manning go out there and struggle against Ohio State, and then they've heard Arch Manning has struggled since, and he ain't coming out in this coming draft, certainly if he continues to play like this. So they're just going to say, well, all of them are terrible. Not all of them are going to be terrible, but you have to make sure you pay attention to your P's and Q's here because you're going to be going over a lot of different things coming up in the next season. New QB, more than likely a new coach, a new general manager, as I've been saying, if things continue this way. Like, there's a lot of things that you have to bring into attention here after you go out there. And if you lose that many games, then yeah, hopefully it'll be right there for everybody that you got to take Garrett Nussmeier or you got to take Lenore Sellers or Fernando Mendoza by that time. I mean, any one of those names. Not Cade Klubnik. Never Cade Klubnik. Go back and check the mentions. But one of those names may come to fruition for you, and we're just going to have to hope and pray that that guy ends up being a good guy for us and that we hold on to that guy and not make silly decisions like giving him too much power too soon and then moving on from him and letting egos get in the way.
Unless he sucks. Then you got to move on from him.
But how do we know he's going to be terrible?
Johnny Football, we kind of knew.
Johnny Football was a special case because he didn't do the work. There's guys who do the work.
Sure.
Like, you guys are going to have to understand here that the conversation about quarterback has changed. There was a time where they would just take off, and that was it. And they were great QBs. Mahomes had a year. There was greatness there. I think the position has changed now, man. The coaching's different. They're playing at different schools. That means they're getting different quality coaching. There's a lot more times where they're doing drills instead of playing games with live talent coming after you. There's a lot there that you have to take into account.
But
they need more seasoning in the NFL than they ever did.
I can already tell we're all asking the same question. What can we learn from the Baker experience? Everybody's saying the same thing. I heard Jonathan say it yesterday. Got to give the quarterbacks 4 years. It's like, you had to give Kenny Pickett 4 years? You had to give Trey Lance 4 years? Like, no, you don't. Like, no, that's stupid too. That'll just get everybody fired, and that'll prolong your misery.
216-474-0092. Jim in Strongsville, hello.
No, Ken, I am going to say that's absolutely crazy. I'm going to start calling this Shador derangement syndrome. You know why? Because the idea that a fifth-round pick this year is better than any draft, any kid that's coming out next year, which everybody says is probably a better quarterback draft, is literally the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. It is deranged. It is this Shador. He talks about groupthink. Shador is like the definition of groupthink. Thank you very much.
Well, why, Jim?
That's not all the group, though. Not everybody
Did he hang
thinks
up?
that.
No, but I mean, how many people do you see? I mean, we've heard people, like, as far as I'm concerned.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Nobody has been talking about Shador Sanders over the last 3 weeks. Nobody said a damn word. In this town, nobody's really said a damn word of him. What's there been to say? Who?
Henry just did?
No, that's Emery Hunt. We played that clip. Emery's a draft guy.
Yeah, and Emery's telling is not much of a draft guy if he's telling you that Shador, you got a better guy on your roster in Shador than any of the quarterbacks coming out.
I don't think there's any obsession with Shador. Maybe he's just trying to make a point and he's right.
That's a far stretch to make that point. Come on, I mean, I'm done with this. Look, be honest about Shador.
How can you be done with it? He hasn't even played. How can I be done with it?
There you go, Jim. You are.
Done with what? He stood on the sidelines. How can I be done with a guy that's on the sidelines?
Well, if you don't think he's good.
That's like me still like, I'm done with a guy in the 537. Why? He's just all he's doing is standing there watching.
Fifth-round picks never get a guaranteed chance to start.
I know that I have the flavor in a.
I'm not ending the show with this song.
I think doing it for day 2.
I think this is the new ending of the show.
Yeah, it might be. This is pretty good. Might want to do that.
Maybe we'll get a new one every week.
It's amazing how quickly I did a flip-flop on that opinion. The more I listen, the more it's better.
Jim, this is the dumbest thing I've ever.
We're back tomorrow morning, 6 to 10. Go listen to Jeremy Fowler. He was at 9 o'clock. ESPN NFL Insider around the AFC North was great. They all said, hey, you guys are just wasting time. Play Dylan Gabriel. Are we wasting our time not by playing Dylan Gabriel? I still say no. But, I'm just a football guy. We're back tomorrow, 6 to 10 for Big Country, for Jeff, for Mitch, for the Slippery Wizard, for Owen Laudeman, football guy.
Better get on the Baker bandwagon, by the way.
For Mitch, the Slippery Wizard, Anthony Lima, for Jeff. What'd you just say?
This is a pro-Baker show going forward. We are rooting for him.
No, it's not. Shut up.
Thank you for paying attention.
Don't be a hater.
And making sure that you're
We're back tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Go Guardians. Hey, sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Loser town, loser fans, and you guys are a loser show.
This is Boomer Esiason with an Odyssey Sports Minute. After 2 home victories, Green Bay looks unstoppable, topped by power rankings, followed by Buffalo, which did clean up